Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Tonight, we are continuing on with our ongoing Sandbox West Marches campaign, playing the second edition Pathfinder playtest role-playing game using Greg Gillespie's very cool Barrowmaze complete setting. Now, if you bear with me a moment, I'm going to make sure we're actually streaming because we have had issues with the stream in the past. Let's see here. It does appear I see us moving around. So that seems like we're not having the last time we had a lot of, let's see here. I'm going to look. Hey, and I'm looking back. And there we go. Okay, yeah, it appears that we're streaming. So with me tonight, this is a pickup session. This is the first time we're indulging the actual West Marches aspect of this, where yesterday Chad shot me an email saying, hey, I'm free to play tomorrow night. So we put together this. We've got one more player who will be joining us a little later. But let's do introductions of who everyone is. We'll go in the order that you guys logged on. So I think, Chad, you're up first. Why don't you tell us who you are, where we can find more about you, and who are you playing tonight?
My name is Chadwick Ginther. I am a writer, author of the Thunder Road trilogy, and recently released Graveyard Mind from Cheesing Publications. You can find me at my website, chadwickginther.com, or at chadwickginther on Twitter. Tonight I'm playing Roan Scarshorse, a half-orc criminal sorcerer with a demonic bloodline, but he won't probably tell you that.
Fantastic. And Jeffrey, who are you? Who are you playing?
I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Badonk, the dog stance fighting monk.
Yes.
His two puppies, Bit and Biscuit.
Biscuit and Bone.
Oh yeah, Biscuit and Bone.
All right, so let's do the camera shuffle here and get into Roll20. Did I close down my Roll20? I did. Kev, why'd you do that? That was not smart. That was not smart at all. So Jeff has, obviously, I mean, Jeff is one of the recurring stars of this channel, so you know that Jeff has played this before. But Chad, this is your first time playing the Pathfinder playtest, right?
It is, yeah. Kind of talked through the game a little bit with you when you picked it up, because I was in Calgary then. And
that's a very generous way of describing it. I think more is that while Chad was trying to do shit, I kept trying to talk about the book.
But I also watched the first the character creation and the first adventure that Jeff played as Badonk. So
okay, cool.
Just to kind of get a feel for what you guys were doing and to see how character creation went live, and it seemed like a lot of fun. I kind of like the mechanic aspect of building as you choose stuff and you know, having your experiences and whatnot influence how your stats turn out. So.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, it's a pretty, like, for a game that has fairly complex characters at the like once you're finished them, relatively, like compared to, like, you know, basic D&D or Adventure Conquer King or something like that. It does move pretty quickly. Like once you get familiar with it, it's easy to you know, cobble together some new characters. Chad, I'm going to send you. Did you get the link to the Roll20 campaign?
Yes, I have logged in.
Okay. Let's see. So I think you might need to join the actual game because I'm seeing Jeff in here as Wizatilli, your Otra goblin.
Oh, I didn't change my name.
There we go.
And I'll point out too that guys, I've got my coffee mug for the night, and do you know what this means? This mug means business. So, all right, let's see here. Okay. There we go. Together, then I will do the camera shuffle myself and share screens here. Oop, season up. Okay. Friday nights, my computer loves to spaz out for Friday sessions for some reason. And then it will eventually stop crapping its pants and go back to normal. Oh, I'm getting feedback back. I think it's because I've got the hold on here. That. Oops, wrong thing. Let me mute myself. Boom. Hit refresh. Okay, here we go. So, and there we go, Chad.
Show you the chair in front of me, but
that's terrific.
The camera was pointed at me, but whatever. Okay,
that's awesome.
It's a comfortable chair, but
tonight the role of Chad will be played by a chair. It's flashbacks to the 2003 or no, what was it? The that Republican convention where Clint Eastwood yelled at a chair. Okay. That's hilarious. There we go. Nice. Okay. So the Chad, this is your first time also to the Barrowmaze, or Rowan's first time to the Barrowmaze as well. So let's do. Unfortunately, Jeff has had to sit because Jeff makes so many more sessions. He's had to hear this about 4 times now.
It's all good.
So my apologies, Jeff. But Chad, local villagers whisper of a mysterious place deep in the marsh, a place shrouded in mists and dotted with barrow mounds, ruined columns, and standing stones. The tomb robbers who... Oh, can you hear me, Chad? Nope, can you hear me? Let's see. Oh, Chad, did you mute your Google call? If you muted yourself in the Google Hangout, then you won't be able to hear us. Let's see here. What's going on? Oh, we lost Chad on the Hangout. Let me just I'll flip another invite to him. Oh, there we go. I can hear you again.
Yeah, I can hear you again.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I did. I had to leave Google Hangouts to make my camera turn around, but then I lost. I lost sound.
So well, what happened? So just so you know, for what we do is we have to turn I have to turn my camera off in the Hangout once I've shared screens, and then I hit refresh on Roll20, and it'll load the camera properly.
Okay.
Okay. So let's try this again.
Taking my fist at technology.
So
it happens on this podcast all the time.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's really like about 80% role playing and about 20% tech support. So, Roan, Scar's horse. Local villagers whisper of a mysterious place deep in the marsh, a place shrouded in mist and dotted with barrow mounds, ruined columns, and standing stones. The tomb robbers who explore beneath the mounds, or rather the few who return, tell tales of labyrinthine passages, magnificent grave goods, and terrifying creatures waiting in the dark. Are you brave or foolish enough to enter the Barrowmaze?
Well,
of course you are.
One of those things.
So let me give you a little background about the Barrowmoor itself. I think that, like everybody else, you are from elsewhere other than the Duchy of Eric, which you can see on the screen there. You would have traveled to Ironguard Motte on your way in. Ironguard Motte is the local keep, basically. It's the duchy's. It's where the Duke and his family, Duke Ironguard, and his extended family and his garrison and whatnot reside. But the town from which most people have their expeditions, at least that's what you've heard in the last year, is from the town of Helix. So you, along with a bunch of other brave, wannabe adventurers, have made your way to Helix, which you can see on the screen there. Now, what you've heard about the Barrowmoor is that the Barrowmoor itself dominates the Duchy of Eric. The moor is a vast, fetid bog, roughly 30 miles north and south, and 35 miles east and west. Within the marsh, an obscuring fog hangs heavily on the landscape and easily disorients travelers. At dusk, the fog is nearly impenetrable, and the moon casts an eerie glow across the marsh. or the moor. The air feels thick and hard to breathe. The marsh smells of rot and decay. The ground of the Barrowmoor is soft, and footprints quickly fill with dark, peat-colored water. The bog is difficult to navigate due to the tangled and near impenetrable mass of decaying trees, weeds that stand 7 feet high, knotted vines, and deep pools of black swamp water. The moor is an unnervingly silent place, apart from the odd dog barking. Occasionally, the deep croak of a bullfrog can be heard before it plops into the water, or perhaps the distant caw of a raven. But otherwise, the moor is strangely silent. So, actually, stories abound about the monsters and inhabitants of the Barrowmoor. A tribe of froglings is known to exist somewhere in the central eastern portion of the marsh. These small frog-like humanoids often emerge from the moor to attack caravans back and forth along the trade routes to Helix and Bogtown. And in fact, you had a caravan mercenary who you met who kept pointing to his eye and showing how he lost it to a frogling dart. Locals also tell stories of pterodactyls and larger pterodons flying above the marsh. The rangers brave enough to journey across the bog also tell tales of lizard men conducting strange rituals around ancient standing stones to the south. For much of the year, the Barrowmoor is near impenetrable. During the fall, winter, and early spring, the marshland is simply too soggy and water-covered to traverse. Over the last 2 seasons, the populations of Helix, Bogtown, and Ironguard Motte have grown with adventurers in the summer months. And you are one of those adventurers. So, you have come into Helix. And Helix is a town of about, I think it's maybe it's 600 people. And Ironguard Motte is actually 1,200. Let me double check here. So Helix has a population of about 630. It's got some, and Ironguard Motte is 1,600. So the town of Helix itself is surrounded by a bunch of farmlands. To the north is the Blackened Forest, which you've heard is rife with giant, large and dangerous spiders that some of the local merchants, they'll brave there to try and grab their silk, and then they refine it in the town, and they ship that out. You've also heard tell that the same one-eyed caravan guard has told you that there's a guy named Osen who runs a mercenary guild. It's very quite simply called the Mercenary Guild. And if you want to look for work, that would be a good place to go. There's all sorts of adventurers who want to hire people on, but you, I'm assuming, are a little more headstrong or a little more interested in organizing your own expeditions rather than hiring along on someone else's. You are more capable, of course, than the average man-at-arms. Also, like all the other characters, you have heard one unique rumor about the Barrowmaze. So, Chad, would you give me a D20 roll, please?
Absolutely. 8.
8. Okay. Ooh. What you've heard? So the Barrowmaze itself is rumored to be some kind of sprawling series of catacombs that lay beneath this 2-mile or 3-mile stretch of Barrow Mounds. And that the entrance to the Barrowmaze itself, no one knows where it is or how to get in. And the few who have said to return have either been rich or mad. And what you heard is that the Barrowmaze, in addition to sprawling across the reach of the Barrowmoor, it actually goes 4 levels deep.
Whoa.
So that's what you've heard as you are making your way in town. Now, because of your background as well, too, Helix is a frontier town. It's really very much of a boom town as well, where it's got this bunch of new riches coming in from the adventurers who are coming in trying to seek riches in the and find an entrance to the Barrowmaze and plumb its depths. But you've also heard that Bogtown while Helix is sort of like a wild frontier town. Bog Town is just a den of scum and villainy, if I could steal a phrase. It is actually, let me see here. I'm going to do so one of the things that Pathfinder 2nd edition has done, Chad, is that it has expressly shifted some dice rolls to the DM. So things like
Delph, for instance.
Yeah, and things like even like recall knowledge. Like you can say like, well, do I know anything? One of the nice things with second as well is if you look at page 142 of the PDF, this gives you a list of all the things you can do with when you're untrained with skills. So even though you don't have training in, say, like arcana or occultism or nature, you still have a chance of actually knowing some stuff about it, which is nice. So there's a lot more of encouraging empowerment and action with players or characters, I should say, in this, rather than being like, well, I don't have training in it, so I can't try. In our Star Wars campaign, we called this Leia can ride a speeder bike. So let's see here. Oh, wow. Okay,
Which we used all the time.
Yeah, we use it a lot. Usually it was to push someone into doing something they really shouldn't be doing. So. Okay, so what you've heard, Roan, is that there's actually a fairly, not fairly active, but like the Thieves Guild that dominates the duchy. That sort of, is rumored to have connections with bandits in the region, is rumored to, be running attacks on adventurers who bring things back from the mounds, is a group called the Shadow Hands.
Okay.
And the Shadow Hands appear to be, from what you've heard, they are located, while their tendrils stretch out across the duchy, their headquarters is in Bog Town. So I'm just trying to open up my, where is it here? Oh, my Barrowmaze book. Okay. So, let me make sure I got that name right. Yes, the Shadow Hands. Nice. It's a good start to the long weekend when my memory is still functioning. So you arrive in town, and it's evening, as is often the case when when people arrive in Bogtown. The hexes, as you can see, are only 5 miles, so you're able to leave Ironguard Mott relatively later in the day and still reach Helix with plenty of time. I don't think you've had any issues on the road so far, notwithstanding your road buddy who keeps telling you about froglings and how fucking dangerous they are, and how much he hates them, and how he was sick for 6 days afterwards from the poison. It was lose his eye or lose his life, and I tell you, that's no cost. That's no calculation anyone needs to do. And he's told you that, I think, every time that you guys have stopped and had a drink. So you arrive in town, and you very quickly, make your leave of One-Eyed Crank. And the caravans seem to make their way over towards number 5, which is the, hold on, there's a Silver Standard Merchant Caravan Company. They seem to be the local, like what you sort of picked up is that they're the local merchant or mercantile consortium. You can also see some of the Silver Standard Merchant Caravan Company. What you've heard is that they're the local, like I say, the local sort of trading consortium, and then also who you would want to organize, or rather who you'd want to meet with if you want something imported in, something that isn't available at one second here. I know at Turgan's Trade Goods is one of the local traders. There, you also notice that over here there is a completed church that has a shrine to Saint Yig, and Saint Yig is kind of the, for lack of it's the sort of god of righteousness. They are also the god of very aggressive evangelizing. So every small town that you've passed in the last little while has that, has a shrine and some priests for Saint Yig. Saint Yig and some of the other younger gods or newer faiths are a part of what's called the Futurus, which is more derisively called the New Gods. Helix and its regions and the other parts of the Northern Reaches are generally favor the Ancient Ones, also called the Anganak by the locals. So you arrive, and the church, the Silver Covenant, and Ocean's Mercenary Guild all seem fairly quiet. The only real sound you can hear is coming from number 3 here, which is the Axe and Anvil. That is the local blacksmith. And someone's working quite late in there. There is lights on the inside of this one right here, which is number 2. That is the Fowl Pheasant. But it doesn't seem to be terribly active. One noteworthy thing, as you were passing, as you were making your way into town, you saw on the outskirts this giant, tall tower with this bizarre metallic contraption looking out of it. And I just rolled for your Arcana check, and you actually, like, it's way bigger, and you're not sure how someone would have built it, but it seems similar to the kind of like telescoping lenses that you have seen in some of the richer travelers make use of. Oh, forgive me. No, number 9 is the Fowl Pheasant. That's the Fowl Pheasant. Number 2 is Turgan's Trade Goods. So, but the place that seems to be the most active is right here. This 2-story structure labeled number 8. That is the Brazen Strumpet. And you've heard a lot about the Brazen Strumpet, largely because it's the patron, or rather the owner and the proprietor and owner of the Brazen Strumpet is a guy named Ballo. And Ballo is an ex-adventurer, and he has fair prices. He's got warm beds, and he hires a trio, or has hired a trio of very beautiful serving waitresses. And you've heard a little bit about Urgrit, who is the blonde from the Northern Reaches. You've heard a little bit about Murda, who's said to be have the blood of the Thorns Wild Elves in her veins, and probably a dalliance from her mother or perhaps father. But who he keeps talking about is someone named Tacy, a fiery redhead. So as he sort of makes his way off to Osen's to sort of check in or something like that, you quickly look around, and what would you like to do?
I think I'm going to give the Church of St. Yig the widest possible berth on my way to the Brazen Strumpet.
It burns! It burns!
I do have I decided I bought myself a holy symbol, even though my character is not religious. I figure I found it somewhere and just like the look of it. So I'm gonna randomly decide which god it is of.
Nice.
So hopefully it's not a super evil god, but it is a symbol for Hearn the Hunter.
Nice. Okay, so that's a good way to ingratiate yourself to the locals here. Both Hearn and the Green Man are generally, and basically any other members of the Angramak are much more venerated in this region than the younger upstart face like Arcantril or St. Yig. So great.
Mainly got it for the horns.
Do you see yourself as being sort of from those Northern Reaches area, Chad, or are you more from like further out east?
Out
east would be more civilized.
You'd probably be from a more civilized area, but anywhere that would have kind of a large city, whatever the nearest large city is.
Sure. So be somewhere off to the.
I am only first love.
What you hear as well is that. Well, actually, I'll swap off to Badonk in a moment here, but this is what you so we can see here. This is what Roan looks like. Big, scary-looking, tattooed half-orc. So you make your way. You keep your berth from the Church of St. Yig, and you start making your way towards the Brazen Strumpet. Now, what you see outside of the Brazen Strumpet, you don't have low-light vision. That's not something that your heritage has gifted you with. But you don't need it because you can see from a door opens to the brazen strumpet, and as someone steps out, you see there are two figures that are lurking, and not lurking, but like sitting on the ground, just to the right of the entrance. One of these is human. One of them is not. Now, the one that's human is this very down on his luck looking guy. He's rail thin, long, greasy hair, and you can smell him from about 50 feet away. He appears to be wearing clothes that have not been washed, were soiled at some point, and have not been washed in quite some time. There is a plate next to him that has half-eaten food, but he seems to be staring off into space. His hair hanging in his. He's sitting down like with his back against the wall of the strumpet. He has his hair sort of like hanging in front of him, and next to him is this big scarred dog. And as you walk up, it's big. It looks kind of like a mastiff, is what you would think, but maybe a little more grayish. And as you walk your way up towards the dog's big eyes kind of look at you, and I think that he probably growls a little low growl at you.
Probably.
Yeah. But neither of them appear to try and get in your way whatsoever. In fact, the guy doesn't otherwise acknowledge your presence.
If the dog will allow it, I'm going to move cautiously and press a few silver into the man's hand.
Okay.
And say, buy yourself a pint, friend, and some your dog.
So you start making your way over towards it, and the growl gets a little more intense. I just rolled a nature check for you.
Okay.
So you're about 20 feet away at this point, and you don't need to make a check to know that it's maybe not a good idea. This thing's for sure like a noble's war dog of some kind, or at least it was before it fell in hard times.
All right. Well, then I'll still give him the money, but I guess I'll just toss it towards his plate.
Sure. So you toss it towards him, just mark off the however much you want to give him.
Yeah.
You what do you call it? As you do that, the dog sort of jumps up to his feet, doesn't move towards you, but jumps up enough to sort of be on its on its haunches. And you can see there is a speaking of which, my dog just came up. There is a little silver name tag around his neck, and the name is Mr. Paggins.
Okay.
So, assuming you want nothing more to do with this guy, he doesn't seem to acknowledge the coins whatsoever. But you know what? You do see he tries to do it quicker than you can see, but his hands sort of dart out and grab it, and you do see him do it because you were sort of keeping an eye on him and the dog. But he steals it with a quick kind of sleight of hand thing, but doesn't. His eyes don't change any, from their 1,000-yard stare doesn't change whatsoever. And then I guess you head in.
All right.
So you make your way in, and the bar, like I said, it's a 2-story built structure. You walk in, and there is a big group of people in here. Let me see here. There appears to be when you do a survey of the crowd, because I think you're a quick study of sort of social, judging a room and stuff like that. And you can see that there is 2 groups of what appear to be like an adventuring parties that are sort of clustered off, one on one side of the room, one on the other. There are a couple of farmers sitting in here as well, too, about 6 of them, who seem to be talking amongst themselves and sort of doing that local bar kind of thing, and they're keeping themselves separate from the adventure or from the adventuring parties as well. Often sitting with some of the farmers is an elf with raven hair as well too. There are 3 barmaids that seem to be making their way around. One of which is the blonde that you heard so much about. Her name now is Urgrit. There is a dark-haired woman named Murda, and there is the red-haired Tacey, who seems to be speaking to a big, tall guy with kind of a broken nose, who's behind the bar, and you would guess that is Ballo. You also see that as you make your way in, behind you, you see this barrel-chested dwarf sort of pushes by and he says, "Aye, you're making more of a door. Do you mind, orc?"
I'm sorry, I didn't see you down there.
"Aye. Well, perhaps you might look next time." And then as he walks in, you hear he walks in there, the guy from behind the bar says, "Karg!" And he sort of gestures, and then you can see the guy behind the bar immediately starts drawing a draft. The one person who seems unaccompanied by anybody and who seems to be taking in the room is this little goblin who is sitting with perhaps the biggest pint of beer that you have seen sitting in front of him. And at his feet are two mangy-looking dogs that have curled themselves up near the stools, and they don't seem to be bothering anybody. So, Jeff, why don't you tell Chad what Badonk looks like?
Let's see here. Go to his picture. He's a typical Pathfinder goblin. Big mouth full of sharp little teeth. And he's wearing a few simple robes, but then a few adornments, maybe sort of like the picture, but not such. Yeah. Not so gold and rich looking, but similar to that.
Okay. So you, Badonk, what are you doing in here? You've been, it sounds like some of your companions you had adventured with before. There's that big paladin guy has said he's got some business to deal with, and he's having some new armor crafted. So he's waiting for a week or so before he wants to brave the Barrowmaze again, or the Barrowmoor, I should say. The wizard seems occupied with something. The half-orc seems intent on spending that money that you guys made from the pearl on the sale of that pearl you found in that barrow. He's more interested in spending it on whores at the Fowl Pheasant than he is in planning another expedition. But I take it you're how easy it is to get out there. That money is out there for the taking.
Oh, yeah. I'm just waiting for some adventurers who are interested in heading out.
Okay. So you see this big half-orc walk in. And Chad, why don't you give us a quick description of what Roan looks like?
He'd probably be about 6'4", very broad in the shoulder, but otherwise muscled but lean muscle. I guess he'd be built more like a basketball player than a football player. Makes any sense?
Yeah, totally.
Just covered in scars on all of his available skin that you can see. He's wearing traveler's clothes that look like they have been patched and restitched several times, but were once of quite high quality.
Okay. So,
I guess his tusks would have symbols carved in them if you were close enough to see that.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So this imposing figure walks through the door, and you recognize the look of him. He doesn't look like someone who's going to be, begging for work at Osen's Mercenary Guild. This is a guy who you could, maybe get some business done with. What do you do? Either of you guys, I guess.
Well, since everybody else seems to be in their own groups other than the goblin, I'm going to try to get a couple of pints at the bar, and I'll walk over to the goblin's table with them.
Okay, I think he's sitting at the bar, I said.
Oh, he's sitting at the bar, sorry.
But you can easily walk up there, yeah. So as you walk up, the big guy behind the bar looks over and says, "Oh, hello. Welcome to the Brazen Strumpet. My name is Bolo. What can I get you?"
Hello, Bolo. I'll take your largest, shittiest pint.
Well, we don't say anything shitty here. Once again, I'm going to do a fucking accent for every person in Ballo says, well, we don't serve anything shitty here, but I can get you something proper size. 1 troll-sized pint coming up for you. And he starts pointing it. Are you hungry at all?
One for my friend over here as well, and I'll point to the goblin.
Badonk, you ready for a second?
Anytime.
So you kind of like, finish your pint off, and clank, it goes down. All right. And so he pours one for you, punk, and then one for Badonk as well. And says, and what's your name, friend?
Name's Roan.
Roan. And he kind of does an up and down. He says, I take it that it's not trade that brings you here.
Nope. I hear there's wealth for the taking in those moors.
All right. Well, if you do
find my fortune,
if you travel with this one, he's got luck unlike I've ever seen. 2 trips into the Barrowmoor, and twice he's come back with riches.
Yes, the Moors are very nice to me.
Well, I hear it say you only come back rich or mad, so I'll take that as a good sign.
It sounds, Roan, that you know exactly what you're in for.
I know something of what I'm in for. We'll find out the rest.
Anything further to eat?
What do you have in the pot, or what do you have on the spit?
He has, I don't know. Actually, I've got a chart. If you really want to know, I can try and roll something up, but I don't fucking care.
It'd be some kind of meat, so long as it's not fish. I'd be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's probably like some kind of he's got some kind of like pork or something that is on a spit that he could cut up for you, or there's dried things and like some dried biscuits or something like that. Probably some vegetable stew of some kind.
Perfect.
Yeah, that is one area of like atmosphere I just don't give 2 shits about. So I never end up really like over describing what people's meals are for.
Even at the inn, everybody eats iron rations.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Enjoy your fucking jerky and water, damn it. So the he goes off to get you some food, and you guys are left to talk to each other.
Well, if he orders, I'll also take one.
Some food, or
some food.
Yeah,
please.
Absolutely. Okay.
Can't live on beer alone.
Not forever, anyway.
So
not forever.
You guys have an opportunity to chat with each other. What do you say?
Well, thank you for the ale, my friend.
You seemed like an agreeable sort. And you seemed like the only one who didn't already have their own crew for an expedition. So,
no, my friends are all busy.
You can see, as I said, there's 2 other groups that are or adventure groups that are in town, sort of like hunched around tables and talking to each other. One of them, Badonk, you know this from being here, is a group called the Fearsome Fivesome. It's a group that includes let's see here, 1 elf, 2 dwarves, and then 2 humans. One of them, the human, is a cleric of or a priest of Saint Yig. So there's the Fearsome Fivesome that are there, and you've heard that they haven't braved. You've just been asking around town. They've done some work from like in the trip from Bogtown to Ironguard Motte and then back to Helix. They've done some mercenary work around there, but they've never actually braved the Barrowmaze. And then the other one is a group called Bertrand's Brigands, and these guys. It's 4 humans and an elf. 1 elf and 1 human appear to be wizards of some kind. Oh, actually, there's 2 elves, a dwarf, and then 4 humans. And there is a cleric who seems to be from the northern reaches, because he is a cleric of Thor.
Well, so far in my experience, Mr. Orc, it's better to go in a smaller group because the treasure spreads easier.
I like the way you're thinking. If were to join up with either of these other crews, I may as well just work with Osin for guard coin.
And there's no riches to be made there, says Ballo as he walks back up.
Well, so, shall we plan an expedition?
Let's.
So, what Ballo fills you in on, or what Badonk, we can drop out of the actual role-playing stuff now if you just want to quickly give Chad an idea of like what you need to do and what the basics are that you know, or that Badonk knows.
Yeah, so we'll need tools like shovels, maybe sledgehammers, because you have to break the, what's it called?
It's like the flagstone.
The flagstone to get into the barrows. And other than that, it's, you leave in the morning, adventure out, and come back by nightfall, if possible. You don't want to stay out there overnight.
Ballo agrees with that. Barrowmoor itself is rife with the undead. The dead do not lie quiet there.
I've definitely found in my experience that one day is enough to find some treasure.
But Tonk is woefully overconfident about his ability.
Absolutely.
Like, we just go and take it. How's that hard?
Every time I go out there, I find something nice.
So, one of the things that you also can do is you can you have the opportunity to hire hirelings as well too, like henchmen to help with that. If Ocean isn't in the bar right now, but I think you can probably ask around, and what you'll hear is that there are four people who are available for hire. One sec here.
We have, so out of game, we've had terrible luck with every character we've brought, by the way, Chad.
In keeping with the OSR spirit, I think every expedition has cost at least one henchman's life.
Perfect.
So, we're starting a like in memoriam kind of like placard in town.
So we might want to bring one just so we can keep up the tradition.
Yeah, Colson, Pello. Did we lose someone in the... Oh, no, you didn't lose anyone in the first one.
Didn't I?
No, I don't think, because you had that... the first time we played, you had... what's his name?
Joe?
The halfling with you.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, that's right, yeah, who didn't actually die. And the session we played with... Cork, where you're playing Wizatilli and Steve, you guys just hired that one. A good chunk of the session was hiring that one fighter. You guys going like over and above trying to hire this fucking fighter,
and then never actually going anywhere.
As this isn't something from the Pathfinder playtest, but in adopting this sort of like OSR feel too, you normally in an OSR game you can't hire someone who's your level or higher. But for this, what I've said is just that the difficulty for the diplomacy check is going to be pretty high. So the guys, like, I think Corey's character did a little dance and a backflip trying to impress him, and Jeff's character was telling him about all the combat medicine he knows. They're basically just like pleading with this guy, please come with us.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't very impressed, most of it.
No. Although I think you guys did get an amazing crit, didn't you, at the end? Like, his loyalty is pretty fucking high. So the people who are available, there are 4 humans and 1 halfling, 3 men and 1 woman, and then the halfling. The men include a guy named Lolix, who is a failed tradesman who has no armor and only has a dagger. So he just really is quite optimistic that he can help with any means. There's a guy named Hurton, who is an ex-miner carrying leather armor, shield, club, and dagger. He also has a dog named Fido, who is big and pretty. And there's a human woman who has a spear and no armor, but she has several skulls linked to a leather band that she insists on tugging around. So she seems like she means business. There is another human named Toombs who has sworn an oath of silence. He can be hired as a torchbearer. He'll carry a torch for you, but that's really it. He won't fight. And then finally, there is that halfling, who's a halfling named Murgle, who he's only armed with a sling, but he claims that he's got a lucky ring that can benefit you guys. So you've got Lolix, Lolix, the tradesman with a dagger, Hurton, the guy with the dog, Murgle, the halfling with the lucky ring, Bretta, the woman with a spear and the fucking string of skulls, and Toombs, the guy who has sworn an oath of silence and will just carry torches for you. Do you want to try and hire any of those guys to try and join you in your expedition?
What do you think, Rowan? Do you think any of these are worthy of some pay?
Oh, at least the miner's got some armor on him, but I kind of like the cut of that woman's jib, what with the skulls and all.
Bretta's got like shaved hair, like the side of her head is all shaved and the top is all braids pulled back. Like she's clearly a follower of the Angramach. And she perhaps actually, if you do approach her, I think that your displayed symbol to her and the hunter will probably benefit you.
I agree. Bretta looks quite fearsome. Maybe we should approach her.
So,
she's willing.
Is there anything more? Oh, actually, let's. So that's gonna be tomorrow when you go to Osten's in the morning. But there is something that does happen tonight as well. There is a guy who approaches you as you guys are sort of talking and planning your excursion. There's this kind of this guy's where he wears fairly nice. It's clothing that probably was nice about maybe 8 months ago. It's looking pretty ratty right now. It's pretty dirty. And let me just roll perception for each. Let's see who. Everything first. Okay. Chad, you want red or blue?
Red, I guess.
Okay. So, Rowan, you notice this first. As you're talking to Badonk, you see there's this human who seems like he's pacing in place and keeps looking over. He's got long, greasy hair. He's got, it looks like he hasn't shaved in probably about a week or so. It's not a beard, but it's this kind of patchy overgrowth. And he seems to be like looking over with these darting, dark brown eyes at Badonk, and then as if he's trying to like waiting for an opportunity to try and go and talk to him. Badonk doesn't seem to have noticed this.
I'll try to nudge Badonk without the man noticing.
Sure. Let's see here. Give me a thievery check, please.
All right. So that is +3.
Nice. Hey, first roll for you.
Roll, 15.
Nice. Yeah, so you're easily able to do that without, you sort of gesture with one finger. Badonk, you pick up on this, and his eyes sort of gesture back to indicate to you that someone looks like he's wanting to talk to you. What do you do, Badonk?
I'll look over at this gentleman, see if I recognize him at all.
You don't recognize him at all, but he seems like when he sees you, he kind of like, as if he's going to approach you, and then sort of second guesses, and he looks like he might actually leave if you don't say something.
Okay, I'll walk over and talk to him.
Okay, so you plunk off the seat, and you make your way over. He sort of like, once you're about halfway to where he is, he sort of rushes over towards you and says, "You're Badonk, aren't you? The braver of the Barrow Mound?"
Yeah, that's true. I am Badonk.
You've been there and back and survived. No dangers.
Well, dangers.
Sorry, I'm just, I have, at the time of recording, my buddy Jason Hobbs is running a charity game of his Sandbox Kalmata game. And the same charity that our fundraising initiative benefits is the same one that he's doing, SOS Children's Villages International. So I keep getting messages, and I'm plunking it back to him during his live stream. So I'm sort of multitasking here. But what he says, Can you help me? And he sort of was looking around the bar as if someone might be listening. I need help.
What do you need help with?
And he sort of looks around and give me 1 second here. I'm seeing if someone is in the bar. Okay, he studies the bar and sees that whatever he was looking for is not there. It's that priest. That priest. I need help. They robbed me.
Priest robbed you?
Othar, the priest who runs the shrine of St. Ig. He robbed me of everything.
And how did he do that?
He tricked me. They tricked and lied, spread lies about me, ruined me, and then snatched it up as a donation.
And what would you expect me to do?
I know that he keeps a journal. I've heard. And you can smell that there's a lot of booze on this guy's breath. I've heard. And I need you to get into the shrine, get that journal, and bring it back to me as proof. I can prove he's a fraud. I can prove he's a villain. Rowan, you're sort of like straining your ears and you can't quite hear what's the guy's keeping his voice down. I just rolled a perception for you. You're straining your voice, but you can't hear what this guy's saying. You can still see his face is quite agitated and animated and whatnot.
And he seems like the sort that'll bolt if I try to get closer. So I'll just keep an eye on Badonk if it looks like he's going to get too agitated or like he might attack. Then I'll try and intercede. But
sure.
Otherwise, I'll just.
I'll look at him and I need some time to process your request.
Yeah. Time. Okay. I can pay.
I thought you said they took everything.
Oh, they tried, but they didn't get everything. I hid some in the forest. They won't get that.
Okay. We shall speak of this again soon. And
he leans forward and grabs your little hand and shakes it. And he says, Nix Orm. My name is Nix Orm. You ask, they ruined me.
Okay, Badonk heads away back to the bar.
Okay. So you get back to the bar, and then Nick sort of like wobbles his way back to whatever table he was sitting at, and then begins, goes back to nursing the troll-sized pint that he was working on.
Ron,
so the dog comes back, and Ron.
I have no idea who that is. His name was Nixor, and
Nix Orm.
Nix Orm, and he expects me to break into the local church for him.
How loud do you say this, Badonk? Just remembering that you're at the bar.
Not too quietly. I just think he's crazy.
Okay, so like I guess what I'm asking is like, do you
is he still here? I would be.
Well, I'm wondering if the person I'm wondering is Ballo, or like, are you being mindful to make sure Ballo doesn't hear this, or do you care?
No, I don't care about Ballo hearing. I would be talking so that Nick Zorn couldn't hear.
Okay. So, well, you know what I'll do here? I'm going to say there's a 75% chance of him hearing. So let's see here. If I roll 16 or higher, he doesn't hear it. Yeah, I'd roll nat 1. So Ballo hears everything you say. And he leans in, he says, sorry, Badonk, was he bothering you? It didn't seem to be.
No, it's fine. I can handle it.
It's, he shakes his hand. He says, I'd take pity on that one. It's 8 months, so near the near the end of fall last year. No, it would have been the summer, I suppose, beginning of summer. Just suddenly, he had a series of bad investments and bad turns, and he soon owed everything. I think that if he had the money, he might be better served to go back east, where he's from, but he seems intent on staying here for some reason. Did you say something about the church?
Yes, he seems to blame the church for taking all of his money.
Well, the Lord Ironguard, it was taxes that he deemed was, hey, look who just walked in the bar. Dave, what's shaking?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. So you see, as you guys are talking to Ballo, the door opens and in walks the big half-orcish frame of Skurg the Smith. That's what Skurg looks like. So, as what he says is that he says, well, Lord Ironguard took it was fines for unpaid taxes that they levied against him, and Lord Ironguard did donate that to the at the encouragement of Othar, of Father Othar. He did donate it to the local Church of St. Yig, but it wasn't the church that took it. At least that's, I know, Othar. That's it's unfortunate what a mind will do to try to justify the bad turns of luck that can befall one. But Skurg, you joined us. I'm trying to think. Has Skurg met? Yeah, he has met Badonk. So Badonk, you know Skurg. Skurg seems to has poked his head up from the Fowl Pheasant. He comes in stinking of cheap perfume.
Badonk,
welcome back.
Chad, why don't you give Dave a quick description of what Roan looks like?
Roan Scar's horse is a half-orc, probably about 6'4", very broad-shouldered, leanly muscled. Think more like a basketball player than a football player. All of his visible skin is covered in scars, and his clothes look like they were fine once, but have been patched and restitched several times. And if you're looking closely, his tusks all have symbols carved in them.
Ooh.
So it appears that Badonk is cheating on you. Oh, sorry, Dave. I talked over you. Go ahead.
What's his profession?
I am a sorcerer.
I'm not sure it's apparent to the casual looker, right? Because he is quite burly. He's got those unusual tattoos on him. He just looks like I think kind of like a ne'er-do-well, to be honest.
Yeah, he probably looks more like a rogue than he does a wizard sort of type. But
you can tell from the troll-sized pints that are sitting in front of both and half-empty ones, but in front of Badonk and Roan, that seems like Badonk has been chatting things up with him. Badonk, you want to let him know about Skurg know?
Meet my new friend Rowan.
Well met, Rowan.
He is interested in a expedition to the Barrows.
Oh, you mean like the last one we had where we ran off with just a boatload of treasure?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah, let's do that again.
So Roan, what the guys fill you in on again is just that it's basically it'll take you about 4 hours to make your way out to the Barrowmounds. From what Badonk says, it's easy to find your way through to the moor itself, although that's very different from what you've heard from everybody else. And that's basically it. Now, I don't think that either Badonk or Skurg picked up any sledgehammers or shovels, right? I think it was Vax grabbed one, or was it? Hold on, was it you, Dave, or was it someone else?
Yeah, Skurg. The last time we went out, you mean?
Yeah.
No, Skurg had a hammer and a shovel.
Right, but were you carrying the one that they purchased, that Vax purchased, or were you carrying? Did you buy your own?
Yeah, because I think we bought three, or three went out. I'm pretty sure Skurg bought a hammer and shovel.
Okay, so with your new gear, bristling with your new gear, you're actually fairly close to being overloaded. But I think maybe depending on how much stuff Roan has got with him, he could probably help out. You are currently, with all your new loot there, Roan, you are currently rocking a bulk of 7, which means that if you carry, you can carry one more bulk, which means like the shovel, without getting covered. So then, Chad, how much bulk do you have to spare?
Most of my items are light.
Okay, so you got tons. Your strength is
is
12. Yeah, so you got 16. So you basically what I'm at, the sledgehammer weighs 2 bulk. So I mean, you could easily do that. I think Badonk, you could probably. You're carrying next to nothing, and you're pretty strong.
Yeah, I think I was carrying some extra sledges or shovels for people last time too. So
I'll leave it to you guys. Like the thing with this, the more sledgehammers you bring, the faster you get in. If needed, if you need to break the flagstone to gain access to the barrow, and the more shovels you bring, the faster as well. Because some of the barrows are still fully, buried, and you need to actually dig up the entrance.
And it makes a big difference because Kev rolls randomly every 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, every 20 minutes you spend in the barrow mounds, I roll for random encounters. Every time you make a bunch of noise, I make a roll for random encounters. Every time you have a parrot that cries out that you're doomed, I make a roll for random encounters.
Yeah, but that happens once, and then we have lunch, and it is it.
I adventured with somebody who brought a live chicken into the dungeon with them because a dead one would be silly. His food fresh.
You noticed incidentally, Skurg, as you were making your way into the Brazen Strumpet, that Mr. Paggins has apparently taken a liking to Alistair outside. So he's sitting, keeping watch with Alistair.
Okay.
Your colleague, Sir Albus, is having a fresh set of half-plate crafted for him by Karg Barrelgut, the dwarf who runs the axe and anvil. So he is out of commission as well. And then you're not sure where Vax is. You're not sure where Werbin is. So I guess you haven't met Werbin yet. This session takes place before Wednesday's session because we left you guys out in the Barrowmoor. So
as a matter of record, Skurg is annoyed, dismayed, and disappointed that Alistair did not come to him to have his plate crafted.
Oh, you mean Sir Albus?
Yeah. Alistair
is the guy who.
Yeah, Sir Albus.
Yeah. Well, you can take it up with Brent, I think. So, although you've got no tools, you've got no forge, you've got no, and
yeah, but he's got the skill, man.
I could do this. Okay, so unless there's anything else you guys want to do tonight, and I'm assuming you don't want to talk to Nix again tonight, Badonk, we can just cut through. Okay, so we'll cut to tomorrow morning with you guys making your way towards the Mercenary Guild. So I take it you've had a chance to fill in Skurg about who is available and who you're leaning towards. But Skurg, the three that... one second here. It's in that Barrowmaze Beckons email I sent you guys today. The people for hire are a guy named a human named Lolux, who has no armor and has a dagger. There's a guy named Toombs, who has sworn an oath of silence, who will be a torchbearer for you and probably would carry some loot if needed. There's a woman named Bretta, who has no armor but wears a spear. or wears a spear, carries a spear, and then also has a strand of leather that has a bunch of skulls on it. There's a halfling named Murgle who claims he's got a lucky ring. And there is another human named Hurton, who actually has armor and a shield and a club, and he's a dog named Fido. So that's sort of who's lurking around Osen's as you guys make your way towards or into there. Do you guys you've had a chance to talk this over beforehand? Do you have any preference for who you want to approach, or do you want to talk over your game plan for approaching these guys?
Yeah, we were leaning towards Bretta.
Okay.
I think that I'll let the orc and the half-orc go try and recruit Bretta, and I'm going to go check out this church just to see what's going on there.
Okay. So the way that it works, guys, for hiring is, like I said, it's a diplomacy check. And then the outcome of that diplomacy check, I don't need to set their initial reaction. The outcome of the diplomacy check will tell you whether they say yes, they say fuck yes, they say, I'm not sure, maybe you need to sweeten the deal, or whether, hold on, that's only for henchmen with levels. These guys, I'll just say that you can, with a successful diplomacy check, that you can hire them and they'll go along with you. Now, what you can also do is the way that, there's two rules mechanics I'll point out here, Chad. Crits in this are not only nat 20s, it's also when you roll 10 over the target number. Okay. So you on a normal success, when you're aiding someone, it's a DC of 15. If you succeed, you get +2 to the roll. If you fail, no penalty. If you critically fail, they take -2 to the roll because you've done something to damage the efforts. Right. So who wants to take the lead on talking to Bretta?
I guess I will.
Okay. Dave, does Skurg want to do anything to try and help sell this? So what this woman looks like is basically like she's dressed in leathers that are in no way an actual armor. She's got this crazy like woad style paint on her. She's got this, long, crude but very effective looking staff. Her head is all shaved except for this like braids on top. She's got like blue paint. If you think of like, I'm picturing what's her name, Keira Knightley from that shitty King Arthur film.
Right.
Yeah, so that's sort of what she looks like. And although she's a little more physically imposing than Keira Knightley, she's not like 70 pounds soaking wet. So, but she also has, at her kind of hanging over her from her waist is 6 skulls on a strand, and everyone else you can see is just like keeping their distance from her completely. And I think that Fido is even kind of like, whining a little bit as she looks over at him. She sees you walking over towards her orc, and she looks you up and down, and she waits for you to speak.
All right. How would I have known her name? Like just through?
I don't think you do at this point. Maybe just for the sake of expediency, I'll give you the names. But so that
then I'll just I'll introduce myself. I'll say my name is Roan Scarshorse. We're building an expedition to go into the Barrow Mounds, and you look like somebody very capable.
She looks you up and down. He says, "You're perceptive. My name's Bretta. Is it just you two?" And she looks over at the other big orc with you, or half orc.
Us and Badonk the Goblin, who's been there and back twice now.
Her eyes kind of narrow. 2 half orcs and a goblin. What are your plans in the Barrowmoor?
Coin. Riches.
Not banditry, then.
Banditry? No.
She's being a little racist.
2
half orcs and a goblin.
So it probably goes without saying that Skurg was immediately attracted to her. The second,
of course.
I mean, we know this, and Skurg is doing everything in his power to not fuck this up for Rowan.
What does that consist of? Is he like biting his fist?
His two incisors are grinding together. He's basically towing the dirt on the floor, looking down like he's like this idiot schoolboy trying not to like shit his pants in front of her.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna be relatively honest for me, which is, and I'll say I'm new in town. I've just met these two, but I assure you, I prefer to win my coin, not steal it.
Did you say a goblin named Badonk?
Yes.
Is he the one who brought back that chalice last summer?
Rowan may not know this, but if he doesn't, Scar will pipe up with, he is indeed.
Yeah, because Badonk will not shut up about it. Okay. So, Chad, go ahead and make a check, a diplomacy check, and I'm going to give you +2 for the. Here's what I'm going to do. Actually, they've got a mechanic that is, to be honest, is actually very similar to like advantage, disadvantage. I think they just call it fortune, misfortune. It doesn't seem to come up very much in the rules, but they do specifically identify it as something you can get. So I'll let you make the roll with misfortune. So and that's the net benefit of both Badonk's name and your symbol of Hearn the Hunter.
Okay.
So go ahead and make a roll. And what this will dictate, this will just be her loyalty.
Okay, so where's my?
I quit slouching in my camera.
18.
18. Okay, so she that seems to, there's a little like sparkle of hope in her eye, or maybe greed, and she's like, "You have Soldash." She extends her hand to kind of like grab your forearm, kind of thing, and she says, "You have my loyalty." And let's see. I'm just gonna, out of curiosity, let's see what her reaction is to Skirg's clumsy flirting. She is not put off by it.
Maybe she doesn't not like orcs as much as she thinks.
Yes, he thinks the lady doth protest too much.
She hasn't met enough of us to know us that well.
Yeah. So you've hired Bretta then, for sure. And I think, I can't remember I'll look the cost up, but you guys certainly have enough silver, and I'll tell you what that is afterwards. There do appear to be a couple other people available here. Do you want to hire anyone else, or do you think you guys are suitably armed to be able to brave the Barrowmaze?
It might be worth hiring a torchbearer just so that we don't have to.
Sure. Toombs, I'm picturing is, you're not sure if Toombs is, because he doesn't speak. You're not sure if Toombs is his name, it's his nickname, but what he looks like is, you know that, like, gosh, I don't know what his name is, but it's the real tall guy with like hypercephalia, the big tall actor who's bald, who's in like The Hills Have Eyes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's this guy. He's got these big kind of gawky eyes. He's taller than even either of you or orcs. He sort of walks up, and Ocean is the one who calls out for you. Ocean is a grizzled old veteran. He's like, "That one's Toombs. He'll carry a torch, but he won't do anything else." And he sort of lurks up to you, looking down at you guys.
Will he carry treasure?
Toombs looks at you.
Well, what do you say, Toombs?
He extends his big hand, almost as big as your hands.
Skirg likes the fact that Toombs is signed on without even like any discussion of money.
No. Let's quickly roll a diplomacy check to see what Toombs' loyalty is.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. Toombs fucking loves you guys.
Of course he does.
So
Good
I
people.
think you probably say something, Skirg, when you made that aside about liking him. I think you probably said it out loud to him, and he kind of like smiles at you. So you guys have a torchbearer, and you've got Bretta as a henchwoman. Badonk, you decided to make your way over to the Church of St. Yeg, right? Or the Shrine of St. Yeg.
Yeah, I just want to make a little examination of what it's like there and see what the priest is like.
Sure. So the shrine is a small church. There's probably some villagers who are making their way out of Saint Ye, out of the church. And let me just see if I think I'll say this: all of them are there. If you step inside the church, you can see there are 3 people at work. There's an older gentleman who's human, who appears to be the from his clothing appears to be the head priest, and you have heard that is Brother Othar. There is a woman, a human woman, who is at work in the chapel as well, and a half orc as well, who seems to be moving some heavy stuff in the background. The half orc and the woman wear the raiments of a priest of Saint Yig as well.
Okay. Is Brother Othar the one that the guy mentioned?
Yes.
Okay, I'll walk up and introduce myself.
Okay. So he finishes talking to the townsperson who he was meeting with. And this guy's quite well groomed. He looks down and has a big smile on his face. And he speaks with a very careful and educated voice. And he says, "Greetings, my friend. Welcome to the Shrine of Saint Yig. Have you come to make a donation, to seek a blessing?"
No, of course not, Brother Othar.
I picture your head almost like Muppet style, kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my name is Badonk. I'm here on some business.
And what business would that be?
Yeah, I met a crazy gentleman in the bar last night.
A crazy man, you say?
Well, slightly. Quite upset. And he claims that you have stolen all of his riches.
What?
And I'm just trying to read his face for reaction.
He's genuinely shocked. What? And the woman seems to sort of look over, and because not reacting to what you said, reacting to Brother Othar's reaction. And she walks over and she says, "Brother, is everything okay?" And he says, "Yes, Sella, it's fine. It's just it's fine." I'm sorry. What was your name?
My name is Badonk, and I also found it quite distressing that he would be so confident that the church had ripped him off.
That is. I know that the. Do you mean Nix Orm?
Yes, I believe that's what he said his name was.
I have heard that Mr. Orm believes that the church had something to do with the foul turn his luck took. And this is why I was reluctant to accept the donation that Lord Ironguard gave to our church, though it did assist in financing its completion. From what I understand, Mr. Orm had difficulties with his business and was not forthright with what amounts were owed to the Duke. The Duke took steps to ensure that money was paid to the duchy. And rather than keeping it himself, the Lord Ironguard deemed it appropriate to donate those funds to this church rather than keep it himself. I was reluctant for the appearance of such a thing, but he is the Lord, or he is the Duke. And
well, maybe the church could make an effort to reach out to Nix and try and help him and correct this issue with him.
I cannot. The money came from.
No, I'm not suggesting financially.
We have made efforts in the past. Mr. Orm seems to have it in his head that we have played some nefarious role in the turn of his luck, and he is quick to avoid myself and my disciples, both Sela and Gamdar.
Well, next time I see him, I will speak with him and see if I can't try to talk some sense into him.
If you could, that would be greatly appreciated, Badonk, and it would be very kind of you as well. Now, was that all your business today, or?
Yes, that was it. Please have a good day.
And you, the blessings of Saint Ye go with you. He makes a gesture of a kind of a cross motion, and you see that the woman, Sela, was listening in as well too, and she sort of, when she sees that you see her, she makes the gesture of Saint Yig as well, and then leave you on your way. As you're leaving, you notice that Gamdar, the half-orc, he seems to be watching you leave as well too. You're not sure that he actually overheard you. He was working at the far end of the church, but he seems to be watching you as you go as well.
Okay.
But you leave and you step outside and you see that Roan and Skurg are now accompanied by perhaps the tallest human you've ever seen, and bald as a child, and also with a very fearsome-looking human warrior woman, someone from the Northlands, in the Wildlands in the Northlands.
Good day, my lady. I am Badonk.
She kind of looks down at you. You know, I'm actually thinking so the casting of her would probably be more likely what's her name, who plays Brianna Tarth. Because she's a pretty fearsome. She's not like super tall like that necessarily, but she's quite Gwendolyn Christie. I think that's her name, isn't it? Yeah. So she looks down at you. And she says, "You're the goblin who brought back the chalice last."
Oh, you've heard about that. Yes, the chalice.
The story of that has spread far in the Northlands, even as far as Threshold.
Wow. I mean, it was a nice chalice.
And this season, have you seen any similar luck?
Yes, we did return with something already.
She sort of grins a bit. You see the corner of her lip turn up. She says, Hearn will be with us. And she sort of looks at you, Chad, as if like to saying, like, yeah, you need. Yeah, she totally thinks that you are whatever way you want to play that up. She thinks you're a fellow devotee. So, anything else you guys want to do in town before you head out?
Do we have all the shovels and sledgehammers that we need?
Yep.
Okay, then I think Badonk thinks we're ready to go.
As for bulk, I'm sitting at 2, but I've got 7 light items.
So no problem. It's only when you hit 10. Like if you can be carrying 9 light items, it doesn't count.
Okay.
So that's great. So yeah, you guys are easily able to move at a decent pace. Is anybody trained in survival?
Probably not, because we always forget to bring someone with survival.
Yes. It's hilarious. In our one of the Adventure Conquer King campaigns that Jeff and I were playing, he got lost like 5 fucking times on one trip. Kept wandering around the desert, and then he like encountered a manicore and scorpion men, and like it was just a shit show.
Every village I arrive in, they're making fun of me because of where I'm trying to go and where I actually am.
Yes. Well, like he'd leave the same village, then walk back to the same village, and be like, okay, I'm here. Oh shit.
Oh, these stupid kids are laughing at me again.
Okay. So then you guys can head out. So the 5 of you make your way out first to the into the Barrowmoor. Let's see what how things go. Okay. Let's roll for encounters. I knew it was going to be a good day.
For who?
I told Jaden earlier that like I have been in an insufferably good mood all day, like just a fucking phenomenal, obnoxiously good mood. And our new offices have this massive open concept, and they've stuck me in like the middle of this junction of two hallways. And I understand why now, because when I went, my volume level tends to correspond with how good of a mood I'm in. With it getting louder, the better mood I'm in. So I basically had, when I was talking to someone and I broke out in laughing, and I saw like when prairie dogs hear a noise and all the heads poke up. Every one of the assistants, like, pooh, their heads poked up from their cubicle. I'm like, what the fuck was that? So I expect to talking to sometime the next week. Okay, so let's roll. Something's going to happen here, but let's roll for surprise. So would you guys all kindly give me a perception roll, please? Okay. Yeah, difficulty is a 10.
11.
Okay.
Perception is +2.
Okay, I'll roll a reaction as well too. Let's see how this thing's feeling. Okay. I'm flipping around through the rule book trying to find the stats I need here, and I just flip past Brain Collector. You guys want to fight a Brain Collector, don't you?
Of course.
Yeah. God, it's a cool monster. Okay, so you guys
Thing that's not where I store my spells.
Dave, so you are going to be surprised for this round. Oh, hold on. Yeah, 8 is not good enough. So what that means, just the first round, you're going to be flat-footed and you won't be able to act. So sorry about that. But what happens? Remember what the Barrowmaze is like. This is stagnant. There is no breeze. Even in the heat of day, there is a persistent mist and fog that hangs around the area. There's no sound, so all you hear is the sound of of your feet going in and out. None of you are wearing heavy armor, so you're not like, there's nothing rattling around. And of course, Tombs is making very little noise. But you guys are actually, tell me what your marching order is, guys.
Bedonk's probably following the 2 giant orcs.
Hey, what position is Bretta in?
Wherever you want to tell her to. She's your employee.
Skurg is right beside her.
Okay. So where do you want to put Bretta then?
Well, Rowan, are you going first or?
Well, I've never been to the Barrowmound, so I don't know that I'd be going first, but I'll happily.
But no, I'll lead the way.
That is a good point, actually. Then Skurg and Bretta will lead up the front then.
Okay. And I'll put Roan next, and then we got Bedonk and Tombs and the Biscuit and Bone, the 2 dogs. Where do you want to put them?
They always follow me.
Always follow you? Okay. Where is Tombs in? Is he holding up the rear?
No, he was beside Bedonk.
Beside Bedonk, okay. All right. So you guys are making your way all through this. It's, again, like, it's so, every time you come out here, Bedonk, you're reminded just how deep the water can get, how thick the mud is. Because for someone your size, it's you're quite nimble, so you're able to kind of get around it. But your dogs, Biscuit and Bone, still have like this. I'm picturing them having like kind of a frilly, kind of like tutu thing around their neck. It's disgusting and like old and ratty by this point. But the Biscuit and Bone well, yeah, Chad, you watched the first session, so you know that they're ex-circus dogs.
Yes.
So let me roll direction here. Okay, so you guys are making your way along, and unfortunately, Skurg, you are really kind of like eyeing up Bretta quite a bit and making googly eyes and stuff like that. Fortunately, Bretta is paying closer attention, as is everybody else in the group. And what you guys see is, as you're sort of making your way through some thick weeds, you push to the shit to the side, you step out, and then on your right is one of these deep, you've learned to avoid them, it's deep black pools of water. And right near the edge of one of these things, about 70 yards away, is perhaps the largest toad you've ever seen. And let me just roll. Okay, actually, here. Normally what I want you guys to do is to tell me when you're going to try and recall knowledge. Like if you want to learn something about these things, you'll want to use an action to do that. But I was about to do that for you anyway, so I'll just do that. Is anybody trained in nature?
No.
Just check real quick. Skills.
Nope.
I think Skurg's got the highest intelligence of you guys, so he's probably got the best chance of trying to... Oh, his nature's still -1. Jeez. Oh, right, his nature's a wisdom thing. Well, actually, you know what? So, Skurg, you do know enough about this that those things are carnivorous. At least, I mean, all toads, I guess, are technically carnivorous because they eat flies and shit like that. But the larger ones, this thing is about the size of like a pony. It could quite easily consume certainly someone Bedonk's size and maybe even someone your guy's size. And this thing is just sitting there, sunning itself, and its big googly eyes, which are like this, each of the eyes is about the size of Bedonk's head. They kind of roll over and look at you guys, and its thick tongue kind of, licks out. Let's roll some initiative here. So, just as a reminder, and Chad, for you for the first time, the default skill you use to roll initiative, use skills now, is going to be perception, unless you've been doing something else. Like you have whatever tactic you choose during the exploration phase, like if you're sneaking or if you're, I don't know, whatever you're choosing to do, detect magic or something like that, that will be the thing that you roll for initiative. So I think that unless you guys, and no one said they were sneaking along, so does everybody roll their perception? And let's see what order we're going in here.
Oh, for the love of shit, that's the...
I take it that Skurg is keeping up with his tradition of going butt fuck last.
Yeah, I evidently.
How'd you do? Okay, so oh shit. Okay. Oh, that was you, Skurg. Jeez, 6. Okay. Badonk, how'd you do?
11.
11. Oh, fuck. All you guys are rolling terrible. 11. Okay. What is your bonus to your perception?
+2.
Okay, so then this thing is going to go first. Okay. All right. So the order's going to be the Toad, Badonk, Roan, Skurg, then Bretta. And we'll have the dogs go on Badonk's turn. So first up, well, actually, dogs do act in your turn because you have to command animal. You have to use an action to command them anyway. So Toad's got 3 actions. This thing looks over at you guys and I rolled its reaction to see what mood it's in, and it's not friendly. So let's see here. He is going to leap 70 yards. So the movement you've got, like the range of everything. I'm treating this again for those listening at home. This is not something in the playtest. This is just something I'm doing. I'm using the old school thing where whatever the ranges that you've got listed on all your things, it's feet when it's indoors, it's yards when it's outside. So this thing's 70 yards away. It can move that. It looks like, yeah, shit. So it does this like 2 massive leaps and gets up to you guys. Bretta or Skurg. I'm just going to roll randomly to see who. Dave, you want evens or odds?
Odds.
Odds. It is not your day, truly. So this thing leaps and splashes down in front of you, and it's going to try and bite you. It opens its. That's two of its actions to do this. So let's see. That's a plus. Oh. Dave, I think I've opened with a crit against you almost every time we've had a combat encounter.
Why, Kev?
I'm sorry.
Why?
So it slams into you and chomps down, and you cannot believe how powerful this thing's jaws are. It's like a series of vices closing in on you. Fortunately, it only does that is 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Did you say only 11?
Only 11.
Only 11. Well, that's
on a crit. That's actually not that. I mean, that's not as bad as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. Then it is. Let's see here. For its last action, it's going to attack again and try and chomp down on you. Because it's taking a second action, it gets -5 to this roll. And it. Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, Dave.
Right.
It's rolled. Yeah. Fucking hell. Whew.
That's cool.
Yeah. You know what? I was gonna fudge the dice, and I'm like, nope, it's old school. I'm running this OSR, so fuck. So you take another 10 points. Are you still up?
No. No.
So this thing's and is chomping on poor what's his name? Skurg. And Skurg goes down. So we'll deal with the dying rules in a moment. But Skurg seems to be he's down. But Donk, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna yell out, "Don't let this thing eat me!"
Okay.
And then he's gonna take his.
Dave, one thing. While you're waiting for your turn, would you kindly remember that the way that you prep your alchemical things is you can spend 1 resonance to prepare 2 copies of any of your things, and you can spend as many of those as you want. But you need to do that as your morning thing.
Right.
So figure out what you've got. I think 5 or 6 resonance. Is it 5 or 6? 5.
It's 5.
Yeah. So you got 5 resonance to spend. You can keep some for magic items if you want. Like for instance, if you want to infuse your skeleton key at the start of the day, you could do that, and then or that would give you then 4 more resonance to spread around. But you go ahead and do that. Decide which ones you've prepped. Badonk, what do you want to do?
He is going to take his.
So you have 3 actions.
Does it take 1 action to take my dog stance?
Yes, to do your. Yeah, I think it does. Take a look at your character sheet.
Yeah. Oh, there's 2 little shapes on it.
For tiger stance? No, that's 1.
Oh, that's 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So he takes his tiger stance, which he calls the dog stance.
Right. Yep.
And he'll do a flurry of blows.
Okay, so you'll need a stride to move up to this thing because you weren't adjacent to Badonk or to Skurg.
Okay.
Sorry. So so go ahead and make your attacks.
So
and
one at
flurry of blows
plus
is a monk
2.
ability that is 1 action to make 2 unarmed strikes.
The first one's at +6. And the second one is at
That hits.
+2. Well, the second one.
Ooh, that hits as well.
Nice.
2 hits, and they stack too, because so if it's got any resistance of any kind, you'll be able to stack.
And they do 1d8 + 1. So
Okay.
that is 2d8.
And does slashing damage too, so
+2.
because of your stance.
Oh.
Okay, so You leap, seeing your friend and comrade go down so quickly. You fucking leap forward like and just kind of go like, mad dog on this. Your head is shaking it back and forth, and you're ripping whole chunks out of this thing, based on like a dog trying to destroy something, or like my dog with anytime she gets a toy. And you've torn huge chunks out of this thing. Like, it is really, really fucked up right now. And It drops Skurg's body. Not body, but like he's not dead yet.
No, I think body's about right.
So Badonk, you've gone. You've got no actions left to command the dogs. So the dogs are kind of like, trembling behind you. Roan, you're up next. What are you doing?
I am going to stride ahead to the toad.
Okay, so that's one action. Two more.
I am casting Chill Touch.
Okay.
I believe he uses somatic and verbal. So
somatic would trigger. It's a manipulate action. So it would, if this thing has any reactions like attacks of opportunity, it would be able to trigger that. However, this thing does not have any reactions like that.
All right.
That's one cool change they've made. Is really only like martial creatures that really have attacks of opportunity. So what does it look like when you cast your spells?
When I cast my spells, it looks like my body swells. So it bursts the stitches on my clothes. Not fully, because I'm casting a cantrip. But yeah, it looks like I have swollen or grown, almost kind of like a puffer fish.
Nice.
Oh my god, Chad, does your green orc actually Hulk out?
In game terms, no, but in special effects that I've determined to make him look cooler when I spellcast, then yes.
That's so awesome.
So that is a crit.
Oh, nice.
So I will, I guess, do 2d8. It's a living creature. Nat 20, yeah.
Fucking yes, awesome. First attack in second edition for you. Congratulations.
Yes.
What are you, a DM?
So that is 9 points of damage.
Wow.
And the toad is enfeebled for 1 round.
Okay, so it's enfeebled 1. What that means is that it takes a penalty to attacks, skill checks, and damage and strength checks. Okay, so you hit this thing, and there's a paralytic force that sort of twitches through this thing. As you can see, its muscles kind of like tense up and twitch. So that is all 3 actions for you. Skurg. Skurg, and here's what I appreciate, Dave, is that you always give me the opportunity when we're doing a playtest to look up rules that I need to learn. So that is, I appreciate you taking one for the team. And by one, I mean a giant toad. And giving us an opportunity to learn about when you hit 0 hit points. So when you hit 0 hit points, you fall unconscious, gaining the unconscious condition. You immediately move your initiative position to directly before the creature or effect that reduced you to 0 hit points. That's interesting.
I like that.
Now, before the toad, if the attack was lethal, which it was, you gain a dying 1 condition. If you already had the dying condition, instead you increase your dying condition by 1. If the attack was non-lethal, blah, blah, blah. If your dying condition reaches 4, you die. So, when you're unconscious at the start of each of your turns, you attempt a special Fortitude Save to regain consciousness called a recovery saving throw. The DC equals the DC of the spell or ability that dropped you. So this will be, hold on. Oh, fuck, that's high. Plus your current dying value. Okay, so fuck.
How much are you dying by?
Would you kindly by 1? So what? The DC right now is a 19.
Oh.
So would you please make a Fortitude save? So roll that plus your Fortitude. And your Fortitude is
+3.
Yeah. Oof. Come on, big money, big money, big money.
Ugh. Well, that's the best roll I've had all night. So
yeah, so we're warming up. The dice are warming up now. Okay, so if you fail, your dying value increases by 1. So you're now at a 2. Dying 2. Okay.
is there any chance that Bretta may be considering giving Skurg mouth to mouth? Just asking.
Bright sides, Dave. Bright sides.
Oh, here's one thing I forgot. So, Dave.
Yeah.
You can spend, because each of you guys, you'll notice you have 1 hero point. You can spend 1 hero point to lose the dying condition and return to 1 hit point, no matter how close to death you are.
So it doesn't matter how many dying conditions I have on me currently?
Not at all.
Oh, yeah, I've got a hit. I've got a yes. Yes,
okay.
Please.
So then to regain consciousness, let's see here. Because it doesn't change that you are unconscious. Oh, but okay, so what we'll do then, Dave, is we'll say that your recovery check, that was for you to regain consciousness. So you're still unconscious, but you're not dying. And you have 1 hit point.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are out. Then is Bretta. Who'd like to make the attack roll for Bretta?
What's her bonus?
Well, why doesn't Dave do it since he's unconscious?
Yeah, that makes sense. Bonus is +6.
Holy shite! Are you serious?
Yep. She doesn't have a lot of hit points though, so.
Oh God! Why would you let me roll for that?
So Bretta tries to take this toad down, and unfortunately does not. All right, so that means we've got Skurg and Bretta and Roan and Badonk in contact with this thing. Tombs kind of like mouth something with his mouth. He's quite upset that Skurg has gone down. He liked Skurg. Okay, so then it's top of the round. So now we're at that technically would have been Skurg's turn. So we did your roll and whatever. Now it's the Toad's turn. So Toad. Let's roll. He's really hurt actually. So I'm gonna make a morale check for him because he's lost way more than half his hit points. He succeeded. Fuck. So he's still going to keep scrapping. He's really hungry and mad. So I'm going to roll to see who he's going to hit. 1 is, let's see here. I'll go the order that they were there. Bretta is 1. Badonk is 2. Roan, you're 3.
Okay.
Roan, he's attacking you.
All right.
He snaps at you with his giant maw. Apparently he loves the taste of half-orc. That is a 14. Does that hit?
Yes, it does.
Shit. It's not a crit, though, so that's something. Okay, you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage as it snaps, and you can feel like it doesn't break a bone in your leg, but you can feel a really vicious bruising. And you're grateful that you're able to yank your foot out because it may have broken otherwise. So that's one action. Second action, it's going to double down on you. An 18, I take it hits as well.
Yep.
You take another 5 points of damage. And then third is -10 to hit. Fucking OSR. I keep wanting to fudge the dice, and I'm like, nope, OSR. So I rolled a 17, which means that it's -2 is a 15, which I think still hits, right?
It does.
Another 9 points of damage.
I'm down.
Do you want to spend your hero point to stabilize?
Sure.
So Roan, this thing is chewing away on you, and is oh god, and are down as well. So Roan, you'll be acting just before the Toad as well. Badonk, you're up next. What do you want to do? This Toad seems to be in a death's fury right now, or frenzy.
Let's make another flurry.
Okay. So make your 2 attacks.
Please, God.
Ooh, that's
nice.
almost a crit.
And the second one?
Great roll.
Followed by a nat 1.
Nat 1. Okay, so that means it's a crit failure. So let's roll the damage for the first one first and see if this thing's actually still alive. And then we'll worry about the second. Oh, fuck. All right, so it has... Man, like you leap up and scrape, and like one of its eyes kind of pops, and like this aqueous humor and vitreous humor just leaks out across you. But it seems to make the ground even more gory. Your one foot, for some reason, sticks in this mud, and you sort of sit. And I'm gonna say that you trip. So it's gonna take you an action to get yourself up from prone.
And do I have to do that next round, or can I use one of my actions from this round?
You still have 2 more actions. You only used 1 so far.
Okay, then I'll use an action to get up.
Okay.
And is there any kind of defensive actions I can take in this game?
Not really, no.
Okay, then I'll just...
you know what you could do? You could use an action to handle animal.
Ah, yes. I will yell at Biscuit and Bone.
Give me a nature check, please.
All right, nature. My nature is... nature, I don't have any bonus.
Are you plus 0?
Flat D20.
Yeah.
What's it based on? Wisdom?
Whatever it says on your character sheet would be accurate. That includes all the bonuses and whatever else. Yeah, your nature's a plus 0.
So it's just a flat 20.
Come on.
Come on, money.
Yes! Yep, so they leap into action, both of them. Nice. Go ahead and make attack rolls for your pooches.
Okay, are they on this page?
And I'm going to assume that they do, like you've said, they'll spend 1 action to stride to flank, so this thing can be flat-footed.
Right. And they do +5. Come on, dogs. 1d20 +5. The little arrows on the dice thing are not my favorite.
No.
So the first one gets a 9, and Bone gets a 22.
Fucking nice one. Okay, so second one hits, and you don't need to roll damage. It had 1 hit point left. So how does it look as Biscuit or Bone leaps onto this back of this thing and tears its innards out?
I think they've just been growling the whole time, scared, and when I finally yell "sick 'em," they sort of burst through their fear, and even though Biscuit's not able to get the bite in, it's distracting enough that Bone just rips his throat out.
So this thing croaks, and then it kind of, it's this wet sound, and it slumps down, dead and unmoving.
I will quickly take a healing potion and give it to each of the other 2 orcs.
Okay. So for each of you guys then, it'll cost you 1 resonance to use it, and you roll 1d8, and you recover that many hit points. Both of you are at 1 hit point currently.
Oh, shit.
Fucking hell.
What is going on today, Dave?
Dave, jeez.
I also have a couple of healing potions. I'm going to drink another one of mine and pass a second to Skurg.
Okay. Skurg's also got... Did you happen to craft any of those elixirs of life?
Sure did. So Skurg will return the favor.
Well, here's the thing. So the way it works, Dave, is everything that you've crafted like that when you do your infusions in the morning, they are infused, which means that it doesn't cost you any resonance to use them. But for anyone else using them, they will have to spend resonance. But Chad's got, or Roan, I should say, has like resonance to spare. He's got a shit ton.
Okay. Well, I mean, Skurg passes one over to Roan.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
No problem.
D8 or
D6.
D6. 6.
Nice. No, I looked up to see if these things had any treasure. They don't.
Ugh.
Wow. But so mechanically, guys, I'm just going to take a quick break. I need to go to the washroom and I need to close my blinds because it's dark out and the dog's going crazy. So why don't we take a like 3-minute or 5-minute break here, refresh our beverages, and then we'll come back and carry on in the Barrowmoor.
Excellent.
It was very dangerous. Well, I will entertain the people at home. Giant toads are very scary. I definitely was very concerned when the second orc went down. Well, Badonk is turning into quite the expert Barrowmaze hunter. Maybe eventually he'll actually make it into the Barrowmaze.
I think I really should have taken spells that did damage at a distance.
Hello.
Yeah, probably. That was scary.
The so that was a second level critter. So yeah, the not having a tank and not having a cleric when the monster gets initiative can be pretty. It only took you like 1.5 rounds to take this thing down, though. So like,
God, that sucks so bad, though.
Yes. Well, like I said, it had the drop on you, though. So I mean, like that's
right. We didn't get anything in before it started.
Yeah, and also I rolled 2 fucking crits in a row. So, and then I rolled a crit on. I rolled 3 crits in the span of its like 5 attacks it did in total.
Right.
Yeah, cut that shit out, Kev.
Seriously, fucking cheat DM. Well, and it's so weird because I'm committed to running this thing. So like whatever rolls, you know, is what comes out. But it's so against my my nature to be like, I'll just fudge it. My intent fighting against my things. Here's the upside, guys. So that one thing was worth 60 XP.
Nice.
Yeah, so like that's no small thing. Both Badonk and Skurg on the goods, like on the north side of 1.5. So you guys are even closer to 60 or level 2 now. It's a 60. We're skipping right past levels 2 through 59 and going right to level 60. That's the way this game works. Fragile Glass Cannon, God.
Yeah.
It's a bold design choice with the second edition, but I support it. Okay, so well that how are you guys feeling now? That fucking Barrowmoor, my goodness.
That was stressful, but
between the healing potions and the elixir of life, I'm ready to rock again. That's
standing
happier than a Thaisian dock worker. So I don't
Skurg
is actually still checking to see if this particular event has changed Retta's impression of him.
Give me a diplomacy check, will you?
Oh God. Why? Oh, well,
pretty good.
That's not bad. Let me see here. That's yeah, you know what? So it's it hasn't improved, it hasn't hurt. So whatever opinion she has of you seems to be okay. The only thing she like, the only indication she gives that you know, she's been paying attention to your injuries whatsoever is when you get up, she kind of like, as soon as you start stepping forward, she shoves you a little bit. So you sort of like overstep that one thing, and then otherwise she just goes back to keeping watch with you up front. I think after you guys are walking through, you know, like the weeds and whatnot for another maybe 10, 15 minutes, she sort of looks at you and she says, eyes front now.
The scenery looks better from back here.
She looks back and kind of gives you a grin. Okay, so let's see here. The next hex. You know, guys, the thing that makes the OSR style of play so really engaging is just how unpredictable events can be. You can face a near lethal random encounter, keep on traveling only 2 hours, and then you may have yet another even more lethal encounter.
Is it another fucking frog?
No. I've said that's what you can have. That's not what's happening. The rest of the trip to the edge of the Barrowmoor, or the Barrow Mounds, I should say, is uneventful. So, oh God, I love this game. So you guys reach the edge of the Barrow Mounds, and I forgot to post this into roll 20, I think. Yeah, so not there. So I'm just going to hold it up here. That is the view you see stretching before you. Miles. And you can't make out details further than about, I think maybe about like 100 feet away, maybe 150 feet away, because even at this point you can see hazily up in the sky is where the sun has rays, is like reaching its zenith. But yeah, so let's scroll down to the bottom of the map, guys, and this is where we find ourselves now. Each of these hexes is about 50 feet, and let me look at my map here, and I'll tell you what you can see. So you see this stretching before you, and I think, again, there's no sound whatsoever. Even the wind seems to have forsaken this place. So there's just this, you know, it's this humidity and the stink of rot. At least in the mounds, it seems like you've left the mud and whatnot behind. This seems to be more firm ground. So what stretches ahead of you? You can't actually see anything. There are no mounds. The closest mound is around here. You can see the vague outline of it. You think you can make it out? I'll ping it again. Right around there. What would you guys like to do?
Make our way over there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go ahead straight in that direction?
Yeah.
That's okay. So we're committing to that. That's precisely the direction you guys want to go. That's good to know. Okay, so you guys, I'll start revealing a little more as you're making your way along here. So you've gone there and there, and let me reveal what you see. Where is it? Reveal areas. There we go. So it's about here is visible now, and about here is visible. You can see the marshland begins up again to the south of where you are, about 100 feet away. And You think around. This is taking you about, because I'm assuming you're not just like running pell-mell towards there. You're carefully watching as you're walking along these rolling, rocky-filled hills. Keeping an eye out for any movement, keeping your ears trained for any sound apart from the sound of the birds calling very high up in the sky. And okay, let me just count my way up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, you know what you see, guys? I don't know why I asked you that. Why would you know? No, Kev. Why the fuck would we know? You tell us, dummy. Sorry, guys. You're completely right about that. What you see. 3, 6, 7. Right here. There is a barrow mound reaching up.
Exciting.
Now, what would you guys like to do? Do you wish to approach it?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's why we're here.
Yep.
So you make your way over towards it. And this thing, like many of them, and like you encountered before, Badonk and Skurg, actually, this thing is probably at its apex, is probably about maybe about like between 50 and 80 feet tall. Like it's really a small hill that you could easily climb up. I think that you guys have discussed this before, but these things seem to have, what do you call it? They seem to have, some of them have covered entrances, and some of them entrances, they're not all uniform on which side of the mound. So you may need to take a look around and see which side that this thing is actually on. So I take it you will do so?
Yep.
Yeah, let's move around it, find out where the...
do you stay together or do you split up?
Stay together.
Yeah, I think we'll stay.
So you make your way up to the mound and you're working your way along. As you're doing that, Biscuit and Bone are kind of like whining a bit behind you, Badonk. They're still calling you, but they just don't seem to be happy to be at this mound again.
They don't like these mounds.
You make your way around the whole thing, and there doesn't appear to be any entrance, at least not one uncovered.
I wonder if we can find any kind of indication of where to dig.
Sure. Do you want to spend some time kind of looking around?
Yeah, trying to...
Yep.
Could I use religion to recall knowledge? See if there's a specific facing where the entrances to these mounds.
Yep, I like that. So what I'll do is I'm going to be rolling some perception rolls for you guys. You're going to take some time to sort of like look around, but I'll let you roll an aid action on that. Okay. So you're going to roll against a DC of 15. If you succeed, you get a +2 to the roll, and it's for everybody. If you get a crit, you get +4.
All right, 16.
Nice. Okay, so Roan shares some information about this, and you guys sort of like nod and decide to start looking. You know that it'll be closer to the base of the mound, and that it's likely to probably from this one. I mean, maybe it's going to be on the like northwest side or something, or northeast side to see the rising sun. Actually, that would be the southeast side, I guess, because it's the northern reaches. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I'll just go in order of you guys here. Hey. All right, so you guys are making your way along. Roan and Badonk, you're not able to find, and Badonk, it's probably because you're distracted by the dogs continually kind of like holding behind. Their either ears are flat against their head, their tails are curled under their little butts. They're kind of and wanting to leave. Skurg, you're still, I mean, you're a little bit distracted by Bretta, but you're looking around, and then you find this one area where you think it looks like the earth is a little more raised on a place, and you walk over towards it, and then you take your shovel out and you sort of poke down at it, and you hear tunk as it hits something. You believe you found a mound and the entrance.
Well, the guys are with me, right? So I don't need to call them over. But I will indicate that I think I've found the place to dig.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right, so let's see here.
Gerg wastes no time in actually starting to dig up the mound.
Okay, so let me roll here. I'm going to tell you how many hours it will take to expose it. Wow, things are just not... It's going to take a while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, here's the thing. For every... I rolled the length of time it'll take, and each hour is 6 turns. That means it's 6 random encounter rolls. That doesn't mean you're having 6 random encounters. It means there's a potential for it every 6 times. Every 2 PCs or hirelings that are devoted will reduce it by 1 hour. But you need to have that many shovels. So I'm assuming you guys would have known this. So did you think to bring enough shovels for everybody to be working on this?
Of course.
Okay. So that means
or at least most of us.
Okay. So basically,
what if even if we only have 3 shovels, then
someone's got to take a break every once in a while.
Yeah, we can have one person watching, and I don't know that Toombs is going to be much of a digger or much of a warner since he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
But if we have 3 people on, probably as reasonable as we can hope for.
Not to cast aspersions too, but I'm not sure how much help that Badonk is going to be just because of his size.
Kev, that signal whistle that I had asked for?
Yes, yeah.
Skurg will give that to Toombs, and we'll tell him to blow it if he sees anything.
You've asked Toombs to do that?
Yep.
So Toombs looks at the whistle. He kind of looks at you. He gets a big smile on his face, and he's like, you can see that it's sort of like obeying the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law of his oath of silence, but he'll do it for you. Okay. So, you guys set out at basically first light. So now let's say it's summertime. That's probably around like 6:30 or 7. Took you 4 hours to get out here, I believe. Let's see. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I had looked this up before. Oh, here we go. Okay. 4 hours to reach the Barrowmaze. So that would have put you at about 11 o'clock. Summertime, so sunset's probably around 9-ish. So that gives you 10 more hours of daylight. And then it'll be a 4-hour trip to get back as well. And again, you've been warned not to be out here during the day. So let's do the first half hour of digging. You guys are going to town here. Wait, 6 turns. It's every 20 minutes. It's only 3 rolls I make per hour. So let's see here. First half hour. First 20 minutes. Second. Third. First hour is uneventful. This is hard fucking work. We're sort of like, we're in montage mode right now, guys. Ooh. So into the second hour, this is12 12:40 around right now. Give me a sec here. You guys are all working away. Did you tell me who was taking rests again, guys? I don't remember who was. If there was a set order, or do you want me to just randomly roll and see who was happened to be on break?
Well, I think Skurg was what started digging, so I don't know if it informs the lineup at all. But
I thought we were going to have 3 people on, one person plus Tombs off.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so I'll just roll randomly for the 4 of you guys, for you and Bretta. So 1, 2, 3, and then Bretta. 1, 2. Skurg, you're on watch.
Okay.
You're on watch when you, and again, like there's a persistent haze that hangs around this place too, and that's what you see when you see something moving. You sort of like you do a double look. You maybe like shoveling the last bit of your midday meal into your mouth, and you can see 2 figures making their way through the haze, and you think, is that someone coming to join us? And then you see for one, they're walking with a real herky-jerky kind of stance, and then you see staggering out of the fog 2 skeletal figures. They seem, I mean, this is happening in your future, I guess, but they seem very similar to the undead things you've heard about here. These appear to be some kind of guardian of some kind, carrying scimitars and with bows slung across their fleshless backs. Guys, let's roll some initiative. Okay, skeletons. I got a 15 for them.
14.
oh,
14, okay.
fuckity fucking fuck.
Was that you, a 6?
Yeah.
Skurg gets a 6. Badonk, how'd you do?
That's +2.
Whoa, shit. So Badonk, you're up first, then Bretta, then the Skellies, then Roan, then Skurg. So Badonk, I'm going to say that you've got an action prepared. You told me, Dave, didn't you, that you spent 2 actions to ready an action so that if you saw anything, you were going to shout out. That's what you told me, right?
I do remember saying that.
Yep. Okay. So what is it you say?
I'll sound the alarm, and I'll yell to the guys, "We've got 2 walkers coming this way."
Okay. So you guys all sort of look over. Badonk, you got a shovel in your hand. What are you going to do?
Drop the shovel.
Free action, drop the shovel. Yep. These things are
How far away are they?
Sorry, one sec here. 120 yards away. So they're barely on the edge of your where you can see them. There's only 2 of them. What are you going to do?
I'll tell everybody. I'll say, get in position. Use bludgeoning weapons.
Good call. Okay. Do you do anything else? Like you try and close? Do you just wait?
I mean, we might as well hold our position. I don't see any reason to run out there. We might just attract the attention of something else.
Okay. So then next up is Bretta. Bretta, if she's following your instructions, will just drop the shovel, grab her, spend an action to interact with an object to grab her spear, and then she'll ready an action, spending 2 actions to ready an action to attack if they get into melee range. Then it is the Skelly's turn. So the Skellies do is they're going to spend an action to stride forward. So they close by 25 yards. You guys are now 85 yards away. And they spend an action to interact to sheathe their scimitars, and then they spend an action to interact to draw and load their bows. And they almost in unison draw their arrows back and get ready to fire at you guys. Next is Roan. What are you doing? 3 actions.
All right. I am going to cast Forbidding Ward. And I guess one of the skeletons is the hostile that I'm warding against. And I'm going.
Oh, check out the range.
Oh, it's 30 feet.
That was 30 yards outside, but even then, they're 85 away right now.
Then, geez, I got nothing.
Send a message. Hi.
Yeah. That's not. Yeah, message is probably not going to work.
No. What's up? What's up?
I'm going to activate my cloak.
Ooh.
And become drab and uninteresting, and try to, I guess, I'll make a stealth roll and try to hide.
Okay, so it looks like the bonus from the clandestine cloak is only when you're trying to be a forgettable background character. It's like, right, so it's not like a Cloak of Elvenkind where that would give you a bonus to everything. It's it's only kind of like it's you fading into the background in a crowd.
Right.
It's that iconic scene in like every fucking Assassin's Creed video game trailer where like the guy puts his hood up and then suddenly you've lost him in the crowd.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna do my best to find some cover behind some of the earth that we've dug up.
Okay, cool. That's an interesting point you said that, because cover will give you a +2, but if you spend an action to take cover, it gives you a +4.
Then I will do that.
Okay, so you hop in and you're good. Okay, so that was Roan, and that means it's Skurg's turn. What are you doing, Skurg?
How far away are they?
They are 85 yards away right now. Remember, whatever says feet on your character sheet, you can treat it as yards outside.
You know what? Skurg will take an action to close the distance.
Okay. Let me just, I'll use this opportunity just to point something out. So your weapons all have ranges listed there, right? What that means is the first range band. You can always attack beyond that. Just each multiple of that beyond it is a -2 cumulatively. Cumulatively. Good Lord. I rolled a fumble on trying to get my tongue around that. So sorry, well, what do you want to do? You're going to try and...
Yeah, so close the distance.
Okay, so you could spend one action to stride 25 yards, which would put you at 60 yards away.
Okay.
And 2 more actions. What do you want to do?
What is the range for my bombs?
Bombs is 30. So, like, if it's 30 yards, so for these things, they are 60 yards away, which means it's 2 multiples. So it would be -2 to hit.
You know what? I will chance it. Are they... Can you describe them again, Kev?
Sure. These are... they are... like basically human skeletons that have some really corroded and desiccated armor on them. There's remnants of some kind of helms on their heads as well. They carry these curved swords in scabbards, and they have these rotted but still very, very effective short bows with them as well. These things do not have that kind of like that fossilization that the other creatures you've heard about have had. The ones that you encountered on your first night where you got that pearl. However, let's see here. If what you're asking is whether, like, what these things might be vulnerable to, I think you've had an opportunity to discuss that with Sir Albus before. And these things are unlikely to be affected by, or at least they're not going to be as affected by fire, by cold, by electricity or by piercing or slashing. However, sound or sonic or
Radiant?
bludgeoning or radiant, yeah. All
Okay.
that stuff would be effective against them.
Skurg will attempt to toss in a thunderstone between them.
Okay. So you go ahead and make your attack roll. So it'll be a touch attack against them, which is better. So it'll be you are proficient with your stones. They are thrown. So, or your bombs, and so for those listening at home, I may be fucking this up. I'm going to say it's your strength bonus you can use for this. I can't remember whether it's strength or dexterity, but your strength is +3, your proficiency is +1. It's -2 for the range, so it's a d20 +2 against their touch.
All right, big money. Oh, that's not big money.
So it goes wild, and then wow. There's this massive explosion, and you sort of cringe because it sounds like a thunderbolt has just gone off in a silent room. I'm rolling another random encounter to see if anything else hears that. So, boy, I was actually looking at your thunderstones yesterday, I guess, when I was updating or looking at your character sheet, Dave, and I'm like, geez, if he uses those things outside, that's going to be fun. So yeah, it goes off, and all of you guys are kind of like, shit. Somewhere across the moors, there's one like ghoul that's chomping on some poor adventurer that kind of looks up, but then goes back to eating. Okay, so that was Skurg. That means it's top of the round. Badonk, what are you doing?
Well, since Skurg ran out there, I guess I'll close the distance and move.
I just want to point out to you, like, we've all played together for more than 20 years now. I'm not sure I've ever seen Dave hold back.
No.
I'm not sure there's ever a circumstance where Dave's like, okay, let's hold back here and let them come to us. It's always like, fuck you!
Yeah.
Even when he's like the alchemist.
I wanted to get the most out of my bombs. I mean, I didn't want a massive penalty, and they're still so far away.
Yeah. Plus, you don't want these things shooting at you all as well.
So Badonk moves out to where Skurg is and like readies his action. I don't think they can make it here, but
so you're readying an action to flurry.
If they reach us.
Okay. Then it's Bretta. What is Bretta doing? Hey, you guys. Someone take charge of Bretta. Someone be the caller for her.
How about somebody that can actually roll worth a shit?
Anybody, or she loses her turn?
Well, Badonk's yelling at her to come with him.
Okay. So she goes running up as well and readies that spear of hers. Her, you can hear the rattling of the skulls. And then it is the Skelly's turn. So the first thing the Skellies do is after they sort of like pull the strings back as far as they can go, they arc it up just slightly. And there's 3 targets to choose from. Let's go 1, 2, and then 3 is Bretta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, fuck me. Dave, I'm really not picking on Skurg.
Are you serious, Cav?
Fortunately, oh jeez.
Fortunately, they only rolled 1 crit.
I rolled a 9 and I rolled a 13. I take it both of those miss, right?
They do, yeah.
So the first volley misses. They then reload. Second volley for sure, 1 misses. Does a 16 hit you?
Me?
Yep.
Yep.
You take 1 point of damage.
Ah.
Yeah, there's no way that last one hit. -5. Does a 13 hit you? No.
No.
Okay, so these things basically just start like this 3 volleys of arrows come down at you. You're scratched very briefly by one of those Skurg, but they're not Yeah, they're not connecting with you in any meaningful way. That's it for the Skellies. Roan, what are you doing? You're kind of hiding back with Toombs. Toombs just hopped down into the pit with you. He kind of looks at you with big eyes.
I'm like, stay here. And I'm going to try to stealth my way using the contours of the hill.
Yep.
To kind of come and flank from where, like a different side from where Badonk and Bretta are going.
Okay. So give me a stealth check, please, and I'll give you a +2 because of the fog and stuff like that.
That's a natural 20.
Fuck yeah! So yeah, you disappear from their view, and yeah. So let's see here. I think that it'll take you because you're going to be moving at a slower speed when you're using stealth. You are now unseen. There's different conditions of like completely unknown. Unseen just means they can't target you, but they have an idea that you're out there. So you're unseen, which means they can use I think it's a seek action to try and find you if they want. But they seem to be focused more on the 3 scary things ahead of them. In terms of movement, I'm going to let you got a 25 move, right?
Yes.
So basically you're going to move about 35 yards, give or take, maybe closer to 40 yards sort of off in the direction. So, yeah. Okay. So we'll say that you're sort of equal distance away from them, but flanking up on the side. Skurg, what are you doing?
You know what? That volley just pissed Skurg off. He is going to close distance again.
Yep. So you're now you move 25 for each stride. So you're let's see here. That's 35 away with 1 stride. Okay. 2 more actions.
He will. Does a tanglefoot just keep them from? It won't incapacitate their arms. It's just it keeps them from actually moving forward. Is that right?
They have the
trips them up.
Entangled condition. So let's see what that says. Entangled. You're hampered 10 if you try a manipulate action, an activity, a free action, or a reaction while entangled. You must succeed at a DC 5 flat check or it's lost. Now, I don't know if making a ranged attack is a manipulate action. That in the old edition that used to trigger an attack of opportunity. Now it's only things with the manipulate. What do you call it? Trait on it. That's what causes the thing. Let me just double check here. Nope, doesn't appear that ranged strikes have the manipulate. So, sorry, why was I looking that up? I don't remember. Oh, for the what do you call it? Let's see here. For the entangled. And hampered reduces his speed by 10. So it doesn't like root him in place. It really slows them down. And then if they're trying to like cast spells or something like that, they have to make there's basically a 25% chance of them fucking up and losing their spell. So that's where it's really effective.
Okay.
I mean, liquid ice basically does the exact same thing. It just does actual more damage, although they're resistant to cold. So
yeah, that's it. Which is why I was thinking the Tanglefoot. But if it's not going to do anything other than just kind of stick them to the ground,
the Thunderstone does sonic though. So that's well,
that's what I tried the first time. Except I roll like shit, so I might as well just drop it at my own fucking feet.
Bang! Ah! We should run. What?
At least save it for digging, Dave.
I'll try the sonic or the the Thunderstone again.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
And that was am I still far enough that I get the penalty?
You've gone to 35 now. If you spend one more, so you would have had to take an action to interact to draw the next Thunderstone, and then you need one more to attack. So you're still actually, you're still going to get -2 because you're in the second range band. You need to be within 30 to be with, so. But I got a good feeling about this roll. Here it goes. Big money, Dave. Come on.
Yes.
How?
I'm glad you have that good.
You know who's to blame here? Brent's in baby jail, which means someone has to have his dice luck.
Oh my goodness.
God.
Unreal, Dave.
I agree. Let's blame Brent.
Somewhere Brent's at home, like with no sleep whatsoever. He wakes up in a dead sweat saying like, okay. So that was Skurg's turn. Again, that Thunderstone goes off. You want to hear that sound that you love hearing, the DM rolling dice in the background for no apparent reasons. And then drawing breath.
At this rate, Skurg and Bretta are never going to hook up. Like, he's just not going to impress her.
Well, you may get her killed. So, I mean, there's that. So let's see where they're attacking this time.
Maybe you get to save her life at some point.
Yeah. Okay, so now it is the Skelly's turn. I think I'm going to roll 50%, because you've moved in so close, Dave, there's 50% chance that they're going to try and engage you instead of shooting.
Oh, that's cool. Well, it's a good thing I have 9 hit points. That'll hold them off.
No, but what it does mean is that they're chewing up actions, storing shit and drawing weapons and striding rather than just shooting at you. So one of them does do that. You can see it kind of, its jaw sort of like gestures, and there's the sound of like wind going through an empty corridor. One of them, uses an action to store the bow, uses another to draw a weapon, and then it goes striding towards you. It's still 10 yards away, but it's getting in closer, coming towards you. That corroded, vicious-looking scimitar. The other one, let's see who is going to shoot at. Are you fucking kidding me? Dave, it's you again.
Of course it is.
So let's see here. 16, is that hit?
Yeah.
5 points of damage as the one arrow slams into you. That one will not hit. And if actually,
does Badonk see the arrow sink into Scourge?
Yes, you do. Oh yeah, you're up there with them. Okay, so here's the upside, guys. The rules for crit failure, they cut both ways, and I just had a crit failure on it. I think he was so eager to draw that last one back there, Dave, that the bow breaks. So one of them is now unarmed with their bow. Okay, so that was the Skellies. Now it is Roan's turn. What are you doing? You're maybe halfway around flanking, and I think you can still see what's going on.
Okay. I am gonna keep creeping towards them.
How close? Like, describe to me how you kind of want to come up on them.
I kind of want to get behind them while they're focused on the other guys.
Okay. So that would be, let me see here. You got a 25 movement, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's, oh no, you would do you want to risk like trying to like book it?
Yeah, you know what? They haven't seen me, so I think I will.
Okay. So then what that means is I think there's a faster movement option rather than taking a stride. I think there's a run. Let's see here. Nope, maybe I'm wrong. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to see if there's a... So it doesn't look like there's a running option. That means I guess you just take all 3 actions to stride. So If you're just booking it, that means you could move 50 yards, which would put you about 10. I think it would put you behind them, and then you could move in closer, which would be put you within about 35 yards of them.
Okay.
Okay. So you're moving, and they don't have made. There's no indication that they have seen you whatsoever. Skurg, what are you doing?
I think
they are 35 yards away.
Well, Skurg is going to close rank again.
Okay. So one stride puts you within 10 yards of the... oh, no, there's... you know what? One of them is 10 yards away, so yeah, you can easily get in. Did you want to interact with a weapon, like draw a weapon first?
Yeah, let's do that. We'll save the elixirs for later.
Okay, so you draw your... I'm assuming it's your Morning Star you're using?
It is indeed.
Nice. Okay, so you draw this brand new Morning Star you got from Karg Barrelgut. And then you stride in, and I think you told me you did it in that order because you knew that a manipulate action like interacting with an object might draw an attack of opportunity if these things can do that. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, I mean, Skurg knew that, obviously.
Yep, I thought so. Okay, so you did that, canny player that you are. You go in, and yeah, go ahead and make your attack.
Okay.
Oh my!
Can I stop rolling now?
Holy shit! Okay, so you go in and swing, and it connects, but I think that you just misjudge the distance, so it doesn't really. You batter some of its. You see some bits come off on the tips of your Morning Star. You're like, aha! And you realize as soon as you sweep through that it's just some of like the corroded chains that make up its chainmail armor. You're like, ugh! Top of the round is Badonk. Badonk, one of them is 10 yards away, and Skurg has engaged with it. What are you doing?
Guess. Wait, what the heck? Oh. I'll close the distance and use a flurry of blows and attack it.
Go ahead and make your attack rolls.
So the flurry's still the same bonus, even if I'm...
first one's full, and the second one is -4. Because it's multi-attack does... It takes you only one action, though.
Right. So
but hold on, you told me that you were flanking, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter because I rolled a 1.
Shit, it's a fumble. I'm just going to say you can't make your second attack. What you did is you sort of you swung once, and it's been so long since you fought out of your pack attack, mode that it was, you're not able to get the second attack, but I am going to count it as your multi-attack penalty. So you could make one more attack. You got one more action left. You could make another attack at -8.
I'm going to command Biscuit and Bone.
Okay, they're still back near the mound. So give me a nature check, please, and then it'll be Bretta. Someone tell me what Bretta's doing.
So I'll whistle for them.
Okay.
A dozen.
Ooh, that's good enough. So they will spend. They're 60 yards away, so they're going to spend. Basically, they're striding over. They're running over towards you. Let's see here. Then it is Bretta. What is Bretta doing? Okay, guys, someone just claim Bretta and tell me what she's doing. Otherwise, she's going to lose her turn.
She will attack with her spear.
Okay. Give me attack roll, please. She got +6.
I don't know why you guys made me do that. I tried not to, but
Bretta comes forward, and
the laws of probability say you're due, Dave. You're due.
I don't understand it.
Just like your boyfriend, she missed. So she strides forward. She attacks him. She can make one more attack at +1 to hit.
Do you guys really want to see that happen? All right, let's see.
Yeah, 100%. We want.
It's got to come around. It's got to come around.
There it is.
Oh my god!
Does your computer only have threes, Dave?
I think so.
So glad you're using that.
Are you
D3.
rolling D20s? Yeah, like what is going on?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what it says on there.
Roan, you're up. Oh no, then it's the Skellies. So the Skellies go. So the one that's engaged. Let's see here. We have 3 targets to choose from again. So let's see what he's going to attack. First one. Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus. Ah! Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, I just rolled another nat 20.
That's a 2, right? I saw a 2 on there.
There is a 2.
Yeah.
0-2.
That's cool.
Okay, so fortunately, it doesn't actually do an awful lot of damage. Ugh. You take 9 points of damage as this thing slashes down on you. Are you still up?
Yeah, guess who's pre-dead right now?
Oh, no. Okay, so you collapse to the ground. Unconscious. Your initiative is now right before them. So that's something.
Ay.
That was one attack. It turns. There's 2 options to choose from. Jeff, do you want evens or odds?
Odds, I guess.
Good call. That means Bretta's getting attacked. I rolled a nat 1. So he hit Skurg, and then he goes to hit the lovely Bretta, and his scimitar mostly gets stuck in Skurg's side. So when he pulls it up, it goes flying out of his hand and down to the ground about 5 feet away. His last action will be to walk towards it, which will trigger an attack of opportunity from Bretta. Who wants to make that attack roll? It'll be a +4 because attacks of opportunity take -2 to hit.
I'll do it.
Here we go. Dave's do a good roll. Like,
Yeah, no, Dave, you do it. Come on, Dave. You can't roll a 3 again.
Mm-hmm.
1d20 +4.
Holy shit.
yes. All right, Dave. Go ahead and give me a 1d6 +3 roll, please. Wow.
Nice.
Awesome. So even though the spear is a suboptimal weapon against the Skelly, she still manages to really damage this thing. She's so pissed at this thing knocking down Skurg that she just swings her spear around and then brings it down, tearing through and pulling some of its ribs out and actually ripping all of its armor off. So the chainmail armor falls flat to the ground. Oof. All right. Then Skellies are done. We have Roan. What are you doing?
All right. I am, I think, 35 feet away, you said?
Yep.
So I'm going to stride my 25.
Okay. So within 10. And this thing's flat-footed against you because that is no. Are you moving towards the one that everyone's fighting or the one that broke its short bow?
The one that broke its short bow.
Okay. I think, I forgot about him. So I think he spent the round kind of looking at his short bow and trying to figure out what happened. So
and when I'm within 10 feet, I'm going to hurl my club at him.
Nice. Okay. Are clubs a thrown weapon? That's awesome.
They have a 10-foot thrown option.
Nice.
Yeah. I love Pathfinder. Okay, so go ahead and make this thing's flat-footed, which means it has -2 AC, so it'll be easier to hit.
That dice is cocked. There we go. 16, 18.
And it's a thrown weapon, so it'll be your whatever your bonus with your club is. It'll be the same. So it's your strength is 1. You're proficient with a club, right?
Yeah.
Or trained. Okay, so that means it's +2 to hit.
Okay, so then it's 20 total.
22. Oh, fuck me. 20 is at... Oh, not 22. Shoot. I was going to say it's a crit, but it's not. So you hurl it. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right. 6 points.
That's exactly enough. So you throw it. How does it look when that thing goes down?
I think I kind of give it a little bit of a spin, and the club just knocks the head right off the spine, and it kind of turns around headless to face me before it falls.
Nice. Army of Dead style.
Yeah.
Or Army of Darkness. So it turns and collapses down. Okay. Top of the round, we have Badonk. What are you doing?
Trying to finish this other one off. So, flurry of blows.
Whoa, not 20.
Oh.
You do not even need to roll damage. Your strength modifier plus a 1 multiplied by 2 is enough to destroy this. So how does this thing go down?
Badonk headbutts it right in the chest and caves in the rib cage.
And it falls down dead. All right. So then it will we're not going to roll dying or anything like that because I think that you guys, well, I don't know, hold on. Dave doesn't have any hero points left. So Dave, give me a Fortitude save, please. It's going to be... The DC is actually easier than against that fucking toad. So the DC will be 17. Okay. You got +3 to your roll. Here we go.
Big money. At least the roll wasn't complete shite.
No, it's getting better into the range of acceptable. Is anybody trained with medicine?
Sturg is.
Sturg has those, like, you've seen what those elixirs of life look like. Dave, do you have any more of those prepared?
Yeah, I've got 2 more.
So do you guys, I mean, anyone can spend an action to grab it and then feed it to him if you want.
Sure. Okay. He gave one to me, so I've seen it recently.
Okay. So you grab it and feed it. Dave, roll 1d6 and just raise your health by that much. Or your hit points, rather. Okay. So you're now at 2 hit points. And you kind of cough and sputter, and you look around, and you see that Bretta is looking down at you with care and concern.
I'll just say to her, I slipped.
She gets this. She appreciates your sense of humor in the face of near death. So let's see. What do you guys? You guys are going to have at least 20 minutes before I have to roll again. What do you guys want to do in that interim, if anything?
Is there anything that I can do using medicine? Does anybody actually? I mean,
medicine's really only useful for poison, for when you're in the dying condition, for diseases. So it doesn't help you with healing. 1 second here. But when
anybody else need a potion?
You have 2 hit points. So he's like bleeding and all bruised and stuff like that. And Skurg gets up, one eye's more closed than the other one, and says, "Does anyone need healing?" I think that actually gets a laugh out of Bretta.
Badonk's got like a little cut on his forehead where like one of the ribs of the skeleton kind of cut his forehead.
I'm gonna give Skurg my last healing potion.
Okay.
You look like you could use this more than me.
Yeah. Thanks, Ron.
Okay.
Oh God.
I think your cheap ass DM was not giving you enough hero points as well, guys. There's a bunch of times where I should have been giving you those things. Hero points don't last between sessions; like they're supposed to be used up in a session. So why don't all of you take 2 more?
Sweet.
Yeah, because you guys have been doing pretty well, and you've made it all the way out to the Barrowmoor. I just want to see what rest. 317. Okay, so that only takes about maybe 5-10 minutes. What you guys are gonna head back to shoveling now?
Yeah, I guess so. Back to our grind.
Okay. Next time you guys need to bring a chain gang out here.
Yeah, we're gonna bring every torchbearer there is.
Okay. So, So 1 o'clock, you have you've excavated more of this. I'm gonna roll one thing though. I'm gonna roll for surprise. This is something I have not been doing. Okay. All right. So you guys go back to work. Somebody give me a D4 roll, please.
Who feels lucky?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
4. Okay, cool. That means Bretta is on watch at this point. And
Oh, the toad's mom is here. That was just the baby.
Next toad we fight, I'm gonna bite it.
Do it.
oh man. Okay. So you guys are working away. Let me roll the reaction for this. Okay, hold on. Where's my sheet? Like the thing with this OSR stuff is that you can't use kind of like piecemeal, otherwise it fucks up the rules. Like if you don't use reaction rolls for random encounters, then it's unfair because it suddenly means every encounter is always going to be a combat encounter. So you have to use now for the undead, like they're always going to fucking attack. They don't roll reaction, but these things. All right, so Bretta is on watch when she does that kind of like and calls you guys over. Let me roll the distance. Ooh. She calls you over and oh, hold on, guys. I wanted to check and see if those skellies had any loot that you possibly might get. This is the shit you guys, as old school players, you are completely entitled to say, "Is Kev, where's my fucking GP?" Well, it turns out these things don't have any GP, so sorry. She calls you over, and there are 4 massive forms, about like big, bulky masses, sort of moving in a sort of manner. And then out of the fog, about 70 yards away, one massive toad, a second one, a third, a fourth.
Holy.
No more toads.
They're not as big as the
eyes
other
look over. Let's roll initiative, and then we'll go with what you guys want to do.
Are these as big as the first one?
Oh yeah, every one of them.
Good God.
Okay, so Badonk's got 18. Okay, Badonk, you're up before them.
Dave got a 20.
Dave got 20. Fuck yeah. Skurg, you're up before them. Roan, you're up before them as well. Holy shit, guys. Okay, and Bretta's way after them. So it'll go Skurg, Badonk. Oh, hold on. Who's got a higher bonus? Badonk does. Skurg, Badonk, Roan, and then the toads. So Skurg, you guys are 70 yards away. What would you like to do? You see these things?
7 yards away. Okay. Skurg is going to quaff a cheetah elixir.
Okay, your speed is up by 10. Oh, awesome. Awesome idea.
Yeah. So
that's 2 actions because it's 1 to interact to draw it. Although hold on, we looked this up. Wasn't drinking a potion a free action? Does that sound right, guys, or am I imagining that?
I don't remember that we looked at
one or the other. Okay, hold on. Let me.
All I remember is using the magic ones took one of your resolve or whatever it's called.
Residents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his things, because the things he infuses, it doesn't cost him any. That's the advantage of being a, what do you call it?
Alchemist.
Yeah, alchemist. Sorry, guys. Just once I look it up, I won't have to look it up again. I just want to make it clear. Here we go. No, you don't want to be drinking poisons.
Well, you might.
Glug, glug, glug. I'm ready to fight, guys.
That's going to cost me.
Okay, so it's an operate activation is the action that you use to do that. So it is so 2 of your actions are gone. But you're 10 feet and 10 yards faster. What do you want to do?
Close in.
Okay. So you are that's 35. You're 35 yards away right now. Okay, that's Skirg's turn. Badonk, what are you doing?
Quickly following Skirg.
Oh, so hold on. Let's just back up for a second. Skirg, you remember how badly one of these things fucked you up, right?
Yeah.
You're still okay with charging in? Remember, this is just as a let's step out for a second. As a reminder, this is a sandbox. The game gives you some ways to try and be a hero and whatnot too, but the world itself is not cheering for you. You will encounter sometimes things that are way above your ability to deal with them.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Fully realize that Skirg is only getting close enough to actually use his bombs effectively, but he'll keep distance. It's like he's not gonna engage in melee at all.
Because we don't necessarily have to fight them.
Well, I think that the one that you encountered last time leapt 70 yards as well. That's what jumped on you the first time. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to happen again.
Holy shit.
Let's just go.
So Skirg runs up to 35 yards away. Next up is Badonk. What are you doing?
I'll go stand by Skirg's side.
Okay, so it'll take you 2 stride actions to get up to where he is because he's a little faster right now. And then you only have 1 left, so you actually can't ready an action then.
Okay.
So you could spend it to command your dogs if you wanted.
No, I'll be quiet. I don't necessarily want to draw these things' attention.
If you want to spend an action to like try and sneak, you could just make a stealth roll if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me that. What's your stealth?
Stealth. Oh man, I have great stealth.
Yeah, it's like +5, isn't it?
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay, and then Rowan, you'll be up next.
Okay.
Holy shit!
Nice.
Nice one, Badon. Yeah. Okay, so that's great. So you actually you're not you can't be seen by them. Basically, you're unseen. Rowan, what are you doing?
I am going to cast Summon Monster.
And so you're Summon Monster.
I'm going to summon a pony and make it dash through the toad ranks and run away from us and try to chase it.
Okay, let's see here. So the way Summon Monster, I'm just reading through it here. Okay, so to cast Summon Monster has a material, somatic, and verbal casting, which means that your entire round is gesturing and you're puffing up and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of your round, boom, the pony will appear. Then you spend a concentrate action on your next turn. Then when you spend the concentrate action, then the creature can take 2 actions.
Okay.
So it will be next round. But the pony can appear within 30 yards of you. So you can have the pony appear near where the guys are, or...
Yeah, I'll have the pony appear near where the guys are.
Okay. Well, so Badonk's hidden, the pony appears. Boom. Okay, so Toad's turn. Now, the thing is... boy. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll and see how many are just 2 of the toads. I said there were, 4? 2 of the toads hop off, do their big bounding hop, disappear into the fog. The other 2 sort of look, their big bulbous eyes kind of look over at you guys. And they are going to ready an action. And they actually, what I'm gonna do is they're spending one action to like haunch down and hunch themselves up, and then they're going to spend the other 2 to ready an action. That's it for the toads. Then it's Bretta. What's she doing?
Well, I don't know what to suggest for her this round after that.
I just have her ready her spear in case one tries to hop on her.
Okay, so she does so. Okay, top of the round then. Skurg. Now we'll see how things go.
Okay, you know what? Skurg's not going to fuck around anymore. He's going to use his Tanglefoot and try to glue the remaining 2 down.
I think
together. Then we have one super toad.
What'd you say, Chad?
Glue them together.
Ooh,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, you. So for a couple things, Tanglefoot Bag, it only hits 1, and then that target becomes entangled. And what entangled does is it slows you by 10, and then it fuck ups your some of your casting things. So it won't necessarily prevent them from moving. It'll slow them for sure.
Okay, well, let's see if they like fire then.
Ooh. Okay.
All right. So that's
Are you serious? So you toss fire off, it goes off, and then it sort of sizzles. Like, well, no, it'll also burn because it's alchemical. So your 2 actions were to interact to draw the weapon, and then to throw it. You still have 1 more action by my count.
Can I hide?
Yeah, you can try. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Okay.
And then it'll be Badonk.
Luckily,
well, have they spotted? Do I think they've seen me?
They've done exactly what I described. They looked over with their big eyes. They sort of hunched down as if they were going to make a hop.
Readied some kind of an action.
Yeah.
Do I get anything in addition if I'm trained in it, Kev? Other than the bonus?
Whatever's listed there includes all modifiers. It includes your stat, your trained bonus, and your penalty for your armor.
Have I seen the pony appear?
Yeah, you've seen the pony appear.
Okay, then I'm just gonna stay where I am at this point.
Okay. So Dave, you sort of try and move like geez, like you need to move. Yeah, you're kind of like trying to make yourself as small as possible, but you're not sure it's from the way that those big eyes are looking at you. You're not sure it's super successful. So Badonk, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna stay hidden.
Okay.
Or I believe I'm hidden.
Okay, so you're staying hidden. You can move half your speed and still try and remain unseen.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily want to move closer
to them. Okay. So then it's Roan's turn. What do you 3 action? One of them could be to concentrate, so you can move your pony if you want.
Concentrate to move the pony.
And you're going to try and get it to move like right through them.
Yeah, and then off into the mist to try and get them to chase it.
Okay. So let's see here. All right, a pony has a speed of 35, which means 2 strides takes it 70 yards. So it goes basically racing through them and then off in the other direction. I think that's enough for them to sort of hop off in the direction after the pony. What's the duration of Summon Monster?
It is
up to 1 minute.
Yeah, up to 1 minute or until dismissed or until its hit points drop to 0.
I think that it probably... Yeah, we don't... I think what happens is you see it go away and then like maybe, 8 or 10 or so seconds go by and then you hear this horrible squealing off from somewhere in the mist. Like a whinny. And then that's all you hear. And then it goes back to the silence of the Barrowmoor. But that's the last you see of the toads. So you had 2 other actions too, Chad. Was there anything else you wanted to do?
Not in particular. No.
Okay, so because it would have been the toads running off. So that's what happens is Dave, you're sort of hunched down, and this pony was bolting by you that came out of nowhere, and the toads hop off after it, and you lose them in the mist. I think for the next maybe 15 minutes, you hear this horrible croaking from different directions in the mist, but you never see those toads again. Back to digging. Another hour passes without incident. It is now 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm just going to roll all 3 and I'll figure out what... So at 3:00, the sun is sitting low. At the rate you're going, you'd estimate there's another 5 hours of excavation to go.
Sorry, how many hours?
5. So it would take you basically, if 5 hours will take you, it'll leave you an hour of daylight before the sun goes down to finish the dig to finish the dig and to that would leave you basically you would be traveling through the Barrowmoor for 3 hours in the dark. So one sec here.
Not ideal according to the stories.
No, it really isn't. Okay, so I mean, this is part of the reason why it's a in a meta game kind of context, why it's set up fairly close to town is you do have the opportunity to kind of go and do your stuff and then go back.
And is there any way to mark this barrow, Kev?
Oh yeah, what's going to happen now is I'm picturing that there's a big, sort of assuming you share information with the other adventurers, you guys will all know this thing's been excavated. So say you guys spend the rest of the 5 hours and deal with whatever random encounters come up, and you finish excavating this, and then you go back to town. Assuming you survive getting back to town, that's still excavated. So the next time we sit down and play, that's changed about the world. We're actually into the official. This isn't random stuff. You guys are actually exploring the actual set encounters now too. So we're getting closer to uncovering the entrance to the Barrowmaze. But let's see here. Okay, so I did roll an encounter. Oh boy. All right, let me roll, see if they're surprised. They're not. Okay. So let's, someone give me a D4 roll again. So Bretta is once again on watch when she gets... Dave, what's your hit points right now?
9.
Oh, so you took a couple more elixirs?
Yeah. Rowan offered one, and Skurg had one last healing potion left, or not elixir.
Elixir of life. Okay. So, what you guys see, and let's see what distance away. 100 yards away, just on the edge of perception. 3 more skeletons. Now, there's one other thing I need to keep track of here, guys. This is not something that is in the Pathfinder playtest. This is not something that is in basic D&D. This is something specific to the Barrowmaze campaign. What I am doing is keeping track of how many undead encounters you have between when you take a week of break in town. And the reason that's important is because if you reach a certain point of where you've had so many encounters, then you start triggering a fear check every time you encounter undead. Because these things are terrifying. Like actually living through this would be incredibly fucking nerve-wracking and terrifying. You need to have nightmares and post-traumatic stress and whatever. And that's what it tries to measure, is your fear factor. So fear factor has gone up a tick for everybody because there's more skellies here. These things are not armed with bows, though. They are armed with spears and shields. They otherwise appear just like the others. And they're wearing that antiquated armor as well. Guys, let's roll some initiative.
Bastards.
I actually only rolled a 7 this time. Dave, was that 20 for you?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
He does have Brent's luck tonight because Brent will roll high on initiative and shit on everything else.
That's very true. I think this is why Brent's
two best rolls.
Why Brent's enjoying the paladin is because like playing a tank is really fucking important in this. Okay, so what were the other rolls, guys? Or
14 for me.
14 for you? Okay.
4 or a 6? I don't know.
Oh, what's on the screen there? Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't realize. Okay, so Roan got a 14. 6 is unfortunately not faster. And, oh, wow, 18. So Bretta is going to go right after Skurg. Boyfriend, girlfriend. All right, so that means Skurg, you're up first. Oh, so what's that, Chad?
I found a great 6-sided dice that's going to be my sneak attack die from now on.
Yep.
Like handmade out of antler. And it's rectangular. So the ones you use are really hard to roll. Even better, whoever made it fucked up and put 2 4s on, so there's no 3. So
Did you find that at the Corn and Apple or what?
At the Icelandic Festival. I'm going to see how long it takes my Saturday crew to catch on.
That's awesome. That's for the best that Dave missed tonight. He wouldn't hear that. The Ultra Dave. Okay, so first up then is Skurg. What are you doing? These things are 100 yards away, just on the edge of visibility.
Skurg will ready his sling. Actually, no, you know what? Fuck it. He will sneak down.
Dave, I'm for sure getting you a t-shirt made that says fuck it on
it. That'd be a great t-shirt.
It is. You know what? Fuck it.
So apropos. But he will sneak down this time, so.
He's going to try and sneak?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a +2 because of the... it's getting later in the day. The fog is starting to get... Or the mist or fog or whatever is getting a little higher. Go ahead and give me a sneak check, and you'll spend an action to stride as well to move. Go ahead.
Okay, and it's just D20 +2?
Let's see here.
Because I don't think
your stealth is +1. So it's +3. Oh, nat 20.
So sneaky.
Fucking hell. Yeah, you were absolutely sneaky as hell right now. So you disappear into the fog. So you drew. Did you end up drawing your sling?
Well, that was the intention, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's 3 actions then. So you are stealthing, you're striding, and you got your sling out. So you can move about 25 yards. So they're 75 yards away right now, but they can't see you. Next up is that was Skurg. Then Badon. No, Bretta. What is she doing?
Also sneaking.
Okay. She's wearing no armor, so that's a 14. That's good enough for them. So yeah, she disappears and it's sort of sneaking up. I'm gonna say sort of right next to you. Then it is Roan.
Well, I guess I'm gonna follow Skurg. I'm gonna sneak out there as well.
Okay, +2 as well.
I've got nothing that can do anything to them at range, so I may as well club them.
Okay.
It's a nat 20.
Nat 20 once again. So you're completely gone as well.
Yeah.
Holy shit, guys! You may be able to avoid this encounter altogether, except for the fact that it's the skeleton's turn now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a perception check for them against a low difficulty. And that will tell me whether they actually see you. Because I think because the biggest people have all disappeared and there's only like Badonk and Tombs left. No, they do see a Badonk. So all four of them turn and they'll use 2 stride actions to move 50 yards. So they're 50 yards away and then use another one. So they're 25 yards away from you right now. And they're sort of moving in this, again, like a military precision, just like those archers did and those other things did. And they're making their way towards you, Badonk. Now, speaking of Badonk, it's your turn.
Finally.
Tombs kind of staggers back and falls. Doesn't say anything.
Everybody's stealthing. But now they're staring right at me, basically.
Yeah, you and Tombs.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I guess I'll move into a position to protect Tombs.
Do you mean like so they'll attack you instead?
Yeah.
Okay. They're only 25 yards away, so like you could spend a stride to get in with him if you wanted.
I guess, and then they'll never reach him. Okay, so I'll do that.
Okay. So you sort of grin, like your big goblin grin, and then you go in. That's only one action. You could you still have 2 more actions if you want.
Yeah, I'll use my flurry then.
Boom, boom. Do I make your attack rolls?
Oh.
That is not quite good enough. It's not a quick failure, though. Ooh, that hits.
So that's 1d8 plus 1. I don't think I've rolled yet. Three damage.
Your flurry of blows does 1d6.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So just give me the 1d6.
The other one.
Yeah.
Right.
But it'd be 1d6 plus 1.
Right. 1d6 plus 1.
Okay.
One better.
Wow. So you hit one of the ones in the front, and you break one of its arms, and part of its like clavicle bone kind of falls away. So it's barely sort of holding it together. These things are not particularly brittle, especially if you apply bludgeoning force. Okay, so that was Badonk. Then it is top of the round. We got Stealthy Skurg. What are you doing?
How far is Skurg away now?
Skurg is... well, they've pretty much moved in on him. I think you sort of angled to the side. I'm picturing you're probably about maybe 25 away, give or take.
Okay.
You spent a stride action basically to get in if you wanted.
You know what? Yeah. Skurg will ready his sling.
Okay. Well, you have your sling, so it's you did that last turn.
Yeah. Okay. So he'll actually shoot off a stone.
Go ahead. They're flat-footed against you because he can't see you, and you get +2 to hit with a sling. Oh, nailed him. Okay, so 1d. What is it? 1d. I don't remember how much whatever it says on your character sheet.
Yeah, 1d6 plus 1.
1d6 plus 1. Perfect. Here we go. Big money.
Now I don't use my strength at all for this, do I?
So it is as a very good question. It's not a thrown weapon, which get you where you get to add your full strength bonus, but it is a propulsive weapon, which means you get to add half of your strength bonus rounding down, which is why you get to roll 1d6 plus 1.
Oh, was that already built into the bonus then?
Yes, it is.
I
factored in all the bonuses when I wrote up your character sheet.
Cool.
Oh shit! Dave, how does this thing fucking die? You take one down altogether.
The stone hits it right in the middle of its skull, and its skull kind of cracks open, and it falls to the ground.
Okay. And the others have no idea where this has come from. So that was one action. You still have 2 more actions.
Let's try it again. Why not?
Go ahead. So it'll be -5 to hit, which means -3 to your dice roll. So that misses. You could try one more time, but it'd be -8 in total, which means like you'd basically need a nat 20. So if you're not doing anything else, like why not?
Oh, yeah, that was pretty terrible.
Yeah. Okay, so you were so gung ho in that first one that 2 more stones go flying by. Yeah, they're at least aware that you're out there now. Okay, so I think it's Roan next. Is that right?
Yes.
Bretta is next. What's Bretta doing? Chad, you go ahead. Tell us what's Bretta doing this round.
I think she's gonna close in on one.
Okay.
At it with her spear.
Nice. Okay. Go ahead and give me an attack roll +6 to hit, and then it's flat-footed too, so it'll be easier to hit.
Do you want to roll this one, Dave, or do you want me to?
Please go. Please roll.
23.
Please, for the love of God. 23 is actually a crit. So roll 2d6 + 6 damage, please.
Yeah, I could have gotten a 23 too.
Show up.
On initiative.
So Bretta is so pissed off at these things, she races in and then attacks. How much damage?
14.
14. Okay, actually, that's enough to kill one, even
Nice.
with the reduction for piercing damage. So she charges in. The 2 ones in the rear, one of them gets destroyed by Slingstone, and the other one comes in, and this massive warrior woman comes leaping out, screaming, and tears this thing apart. There are still 2 standing, one of which is damaged, and it is Roan's turn. What are you doing?
I am going to stride to the one that is damaged and give it a clubbing.
Nice. Okay. Go ahead. So you tried to get into them?
That is a 23.
23 is a crit. So roll double damage, including your multiplier. So I think that's 2d6 + 2.
12 points.
12. So how does this one die?
I think I just hit it in just above the pelvis and bust it.
This thing collapses down underneath the weight of its own body. So there's 1 skelly left that is engaged with Roan and Badonk and Bretta. So I'll roll. I'll do 1, 2, and then Bretta. 1. Okay, so Badonk. This one takes its spear. 24. Is that what's your AC?
29.
Your AC is a 29?
Oh yeah, you don't believe me?
No, I don't.
It's a 16.
Okay, I just want to make sure it didn't crit against you is all. Okay, so it hits but doesn't crit. So I take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
As it spears, and then it brings it back and tries it again. That'll be a +1. That is a hit, but no crit. Take 3 points of damage, and then it misses badly with the last one. So this thing is just attacking you like crazy. And you manage to connect with Badonk twice, and the dogs kind of yelp in the background. Then it is Badonk's turn. What are you doing?
Well, I will flurry of blows him right back.
Hell yes. This is that fucker who you almost destroyed. Whoa! Big hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Second one. Well, I just have to roll them both. Oh my god.
Fucking that one. All right, so
that's my third nat one today.
You're entitled to roll damage first. Let's just see if you kill this thing. It really doesn't. Oh, okay, so what happens is you smash through this fucking thing, and then I don't know. What do you think happens? Something.
He doesn't expect it to collapse so quickly, and
you know what? You go rolling down the barrel.
Through it. Yeah,
you go rolling down the hill a little bit. So like you kind of go smashing through this thing, and you're like, wait, whoa, and we see this like big-headed goblin sort of like roll out of view. And then you see he comes back in. I'm okay. I'm okay.
I meant to do that.
All right, skellies are down. Now, guys, you have 5 hours more of digging to do. It's time to assess resources and how many fucking threats seem to keep lurking in the Barrowmaze or the Barrowmoor. Do you want to continue on with the digging and just take whatever comes next, or do you guys think that discretion is? If you leave now, you'll get home with still 2 hours of daylight to spare. How many spells does everyone? I think Chad, you've used one of your 2 spells, right?
Yeah.
Dave, how many alchemical potions and shit do you have left?
Like 2.
Okay. And how's everybody for hit points right now?
I'm 8 down of 18.
Okay.
Yeah, what was that, Chad?
I'm at full, but I don't have any means to heal anything back up again. So
I have 1 potion left, which I guess I could drink.
Yeah, Skirg's at 9, and quite frankly, he's done with this shit. He's ready to head back.
Okay. So, let me see here. 1, 2.
I mean, we can
actually,
head back.
if you guys are not searching, you can easily book out of here. You're close enough to the edge of the mounds that you could easily make your way out into the Barrowmoor, and then we start seeing whether anything happens on the way home. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to scroll up to... All right, so the first one, let's roll for survival. You're making your way along, keeping an eye on the prize, and let's see here.
The whole time as they're walking back, Badonk is complaining. You know, every other time I've been here, I haven't had to dig like a, dog burying his bone. I've just, basically walked into these things.
Okay. So it's about 7 o'clock. You guys can hear your bellies rumbling when you make your way back into town. Bloodied, dirty, filthy. Bretta mutters as you guys are making your way back into town. I thought you said you came back with something every time.
I told you there was way too much digging this time.
Skirg looks at her and he says, "You came back with me this time."
She sort of like, makes a like, all right, kind of motion with her eyes. And you guys have never been so happy as to see the farmlands surrounding Helix as you start making your way into town. So you guys have safely made it back from the Barrowmoor. Are you sharing with with any other adventurers what you have been doing and what you found and what you've been doing?
Like, you mean any other player characters?
Well, I mean, yeah, with the other
bar. I mean, we wouldn't be saying anything around the bar.
Okay. So what I'll assume is that your characters alone are the ones who know what you've started doing. I'm going to mark down there are 5 more hours of digging. And again, every 2 PCs or henchmen that you have, that cuts an hour off of that. So if you brought more...
I think we would bring more people next time. Yeah,
if you could bring just more laborers and stuff, that would help. Plus it's cannon fodder who can take hits for you. Toombs is quite happy to be back as well, too. The dogs are thrilled to be out of the fucking Barrowmoor, or Barrowmaze, or sorry, the mounds. Too many things called Barrow. This is like a shitty 90s subdivision, really. Okay, but let's talk about XP.
Skirg will gift the whistle to Toombs.
Really?
Yep.
Well, Toombs is still with you guys. He's going to be with you for the duration. He's insanely loyal. And Bretta, what do you want to do with Bretta? You want to pay her to keep her around, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Who actually hired her too? Who was it who made the role?
I believe it was Chad.
Okay, so Bretta is hired by Roan. All right. Now let me total up your XP, guys. Here's another neat thing, Chad, about PF second edition. Every level is 1,000 XP flat, and you don't divide XP. You just whatever XP you get in terms of rewards, that's what you get. So let's see here. First off, the successful hiring of both Tombs and Britta is going to get you some XP. Where is it here? This is the first time you guys have come back with no treasure.
I know.
I don't mean to rub it in, but it's surprising. Damn. So I'm going to give you a minor and then a moderate XP reward for that. Minor for Tombs and a moderate for Britta. You guys did a lot of role playing with Britta as well too. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'll give you another 20. So it's basically a moderate reward for each of them, Dave. Especially with you giving the signal or the whistle to that guy. Mm-hmm. There's no loot, so you're not getting any XP for that. Who, Dinah? Let me check the level of something else here. You know, the upside to fighting shit that's always, you know, everything's dangerous to you is that you get a lot more XP for punching above your weight. Let me think here. The 4 and 2 is 6. Okay. Holy. So, guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to assign a difficulty to tonight's session, where would you situate the difficulty from subjective perspective?
It probably felt like about an 8.
Okay. Dave, how do you feel?
About 9.
Or 9, okay. Chad?
I mean, Skirg ended up dead like twice.
Yeah, I'd say 7 or 8.
Okay. Then I think you guys will be pleased to hear that big congratulations go out to both Badonk and to Skirg, who are now second level.
Hoorah!
You guys gained 540 XP tonight.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, which means that Roan, in your first outing, you're more than halfway to level 2.
Cool.
And you may be asking, well, Kev, that's fucking bullshit. How am I ever going to catch up? Well, I'm glad you asked that, Chad. Because anytime that you adventure with a someone who is higher level than you, you gain a multiple of XP until you hit that next level. So when Badonk or when Skirg takes anybody else out who is first level, those first level characters will be gaining double XP until they catch up to you.
Cool.
Nice.
So sort of like rising tide raising all boats. So that's fucking crazy. So that means, Dave, I think we've already made the decision about your feat. If you want to go that fighter route, as the feat you take, that means that you're now proficient with all armor and all weapons, all martial and all common weapons.
Okay.
Okay. Jeff, you've got some decisions to make with respect to your...
I'll have to look through the sheets a bit.
Yeah. And then you also will be happy to know, guys, I think, Jeff, what is your Constitution modifier?
+2?
Is it +2?
Yep.
Holy shit. You are going to gain 12 hit points.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And Dave, what's your Constitution modifier?
It is Bear with a moment. +1.
+1. Well, you're going to gain 9 hit points.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So I will update. Let's see. What else do you get at 2nd level? Dave, you actually also get a new Alchemist feat. Oh, no, you don't get the Alchemist feat because you're taking Fighter, but you will get a skill feat. So take a look at the skill feats.
Okay.
And pick one that, just take a look at, make sure to bear in mind the prerequisites too. Yeah, so you get a skill feat, and I think you get a monk feat. Yeah, Jeff, you get both a monk feat and a skill feat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And because you guys are level 2, all of your bonuses will go up by 1. Your to hit, your saves, your skill checks.
That's going to be kick-ass. Although, Kev, you said I would otherwise get an alchemical feat as opposed to if I didn't end up taking...
Yeah, if you didn't take Fighter, you could take a you would take an alchemical feat instead. So you want to take a look at them and see what works best for the way you envision the character, right?
Yeah, and that would be at a level 2 alchemical feat, right?
It would be level 2 or less.
Okay.
I think they're all listed at level 1. Normally, like every class has level 1 feats, but not every class automatically gains access. It's just because humans can take an ability called like ancestral, like a determination or something like that allows them to take a class feat at level 1. So that's why every class has them, but not every class can necessarily access them automatically. Yeah, it has to be an ancestry advantage. But yeah, that's pretty badass. Chad, that was your first time. So the other guys have played before. We've talked through it. How did that feel to you?
Oh, pretty fun. Yeah, it was good times.
How did the complexity compare?
We didn't actually get into a barrow, but you know.
Yeah, so
that was disappointing.
Well, I mean, you guys to get this is sort of the nature of the you know, of a sandbox like this, where it's like there was shit you could have pursued in town, but you found this thing. So what you could have done is just saying like, well, fuck it, we're not going to waste all this time digging it up. To be honest, I didn't realize it was that long, and there were that many like wandering monster rolls for it. So, but you got two second level badasses who are going to be guarding the party next time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And that day will retroactively, if we end up picking up in the crypt with everyone else where we left everybody, you will still be second level.
Nice.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, listen, I know it's pretty late in Winnipeg, so let me just get out of the my Roll20 game here, and we'll sign off. We'll do our outro. Exit game. Stop sharing. Oops, here we go. What am I doing? Stop sharing. Turn my camera back on. Okay. Where's my... Come on, camera. There we go. Look at that, you little horse. All right, so for those listening... first off, for my players, thank you so much for playing tonight, guys. I was really hoping we'd play again this week. And Chad, I appreciate you getting the ball rolling on a pickup session. I fucking love these pickup sessions. So that'll be neat. Maybe what I'll do is I'll send a session summary out to everybody who's in the campaign so that everybody knows sort of what happened, and you guys can plan accordingly for what you want to do. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for yet another session of the Barrowmaze Bound campaign. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding this, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below. You can reach me on Twitter at Dungeon Musings. Not at nothing. Dungeon Musings, plural, all one word. You can also shoot me an email at dungeonmusings@gmail.com. Chad, if people want to reach you, where do they go?
They go to my website, chadwickginther.com, or probably most likely find me on Twitter at chadwickginther.
Nice. And finally, you will notice that there are 2 links in the description below. Those are to the charity fundraising campaign that we're running on the channel. This is something we're calling Heroes Save Villages. It's a campaign that we've hooked up with the terrific SOS Children's Villages International charity. This is something that provides both advocacy and direct benefits to kids in very high need circumstances, kids that aren't really having a chance to enjoy, you know, their childhood. So it's really terrific benefits that and services they provide to those kids. If you click through to the campaign, you can learn more about SOS Children's Villages International. You can learn about the Heroes Save Villages campaign, and you can donate and do a bunch of cool things like force a random encounter on my players, or give them a extra hero point when they need it, or make someone pick their pocket, or give them some extra cash. Or you can, if you donate $100 or more, I will run a complete session for you. So if you want to learn as well why I set up the campaign, you can find a link to the video about that as well, where I talk about the Heroes Save Villages campaign and my connection with SOS Children's Villages International. Anyway, otherwise, thank you again to my players. This has been a really fun. I was very happy to be back and playing some more Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And for those listening at home, we'll see you back in the Barrowmoor very soon. Thanks. Good night.